Alright everyone, hope you're all doing good today, hope you're all doing well. It is time for another episode of Speedruns From the Crypt, your bi-weekly horror hotfix. I'm your host, Dices, and we have a few indie games in store for you today. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Before we do begin, I do just want to tell you about some of the GDQ events coming up, because we have a lot of them around the corner. First, we have GDQ's next all-women and femme speedrunning event, Flame Fatales, returning August 18th to the 25th, and use !FF in Twitch chat to find out more information on that. We also have GDQ going to PAX West from August 30th to September 2nd. The schedule's out now. You can use !PAX to find that. And we also have GDQ Express coming to TwitchCon, which is going to be September 20th through the 22nd, and you can use !GDQX to find that. We have a lot of fun GDQ events coming up, and it should be a good time. That being said, for Speedruns the Crypt, hope you're all doing great today. Today's focus is indie games. We're going to be taking a look at some recent games released in the past few years. It is always nice to look at some of the big blockbuster games, but there's a lot of heart put into the indie scene. So I thought we would take a look at some of my personal favorite games that, I guess I played lately and that I think have pretty cool speedruns and speedrun communities. To kick things off, we're going to be going with our first game of the night. We're going to be going to Faith the Unholy Trinity. We'll be doing the full trilogy, which is all 3 chapters, and we'll be seeing the best endings in each game. With that, we're going to be having Venata, so honestly, just take it away.
Thanks very much, guys. It's a pleasure to be here. And yeah, we're going to be playing Faith the Unholy Trinity. We are going to be doing Marathon %. We're going to be trying to do our best in getting the good ending for all 3 chapters so that we get to see a very fun fight at the very end of this. So I'll get into it. So time is going to start again in just a second. I'll give you a heads up, and then time will end pretty much after the very last cutscene. Again, heads up on that too. So in 3, 2, 1, go. You're gonna get cracking on this. And naturally, very first game that came out in like 2019 with Faith the Unholy, Faith Chapter 1. The very first thing you will see me do is one of the little techs, which is just called Crux Tech. You hit down space because I use the keyboard. You can also do it with the controller if you want. And you get to use your crux while moving around. All you have to do is that one simple little trick, and don't miss it. So press down spacebar, go into your main menu, do not let up on that spacebar, go back out of the menu, and you're good to go. Crux Tech is activated. You get to walk around, and you get to be aware of the terrors in the forest here. This is one of them, and this is Michael. Michael's going to be saying a couple of things. It's a very nice little, crunchy, 8-bit little horror game. Obviously, it's based on the Satanic Panic, so it's pretty cool. No. So he's going to say a bunch of stuff. He's going to be following you throughout the entirety of the forest, and you better be careful, particularly among the edges here of the tiles here. I'm just going to call it tile. But you want to be careful there because you can get jump scared by Michael and several other enemies, which just means GG. I'm going to be collecting a couple of notes here as well, because the more notes that you collect in the game, it affects the final boss, essentially. Even though we found that the enemy bar actually rises, but they take more damage, something like that, pretty much. And we're just going to go into this little circle here, go back up, and we're going to be seeing a very scary little scene. This is the rotoscope kind of little scenes here. I adore them so much. There's a lot of love that went into them, and a lot of years of dedication to trying to get everything put together. So those notes, the more you collect, the weaker the final boss kind of becomes, but around here you're just going to be kind of seeing symbols around the place. You're going to be intimidated by this image of Amy, who is the individual at the heart of this game in particular, and the series in general. You're going to be seeing a lot of kind of images around her, but only one is real, and she typically kind of glows a little bit differently than the rest of them. The others are kind of all in completely the same. And we're going to be doing this in and out. This is the rooms next to one another, because after we wind up going through that door there where you can kind of see a little bit of a blood trap. And then after this one, we're going to activate that Crux Tech again and go immediately up into the attic. Yeah, there's a lot of blood, a lot of sad mannequins. And nevertheless, one of the best things is that Crux Tech can actually happen during in-game cutscenes. So this is what we're doing right now to kind of cut down time in the battle. There's going to be all these like demons that are just going to be trying to intimidate you the entire time. You can kind of wait for him to come about this close, and then 1, 2, 3. He'll make like 3 movements, and you kind of want to move away then. Get close to Amy, just not too close, because otherwise in the next cutscene she might basically off John. And John is the name of our character. So you kind of want to just do the thing again, just find the odd one out, and then keep using Crux Tech to kind of try and take her down. And there's about like 2 phases here, essentially, like at the heart, or well, 3 phases. And we're going to keep doing this. There is some really neat tech that if you're quick enough, you can get some extra damage by going back and then forward again. It is one of those things that takes a lot of skill. And there's a lot of more like pretty neat runners who are also like continuously like finding new stuff all the goddamn time. Even in chapter 2 recently, Erdorf shared some new tech. We don't get to use it marathon mode, but I will get to that when it actually gets to that. So we want to just stay out of this ring here, because if we pass that ring, it's an insta kill. And so we just kind of there's like 2 different ways you can do this. You can do what I'm doing here, which I consider to be the most safest because I'm just so used to it. Or you can kind of go around the actual little symbols here, like the edges. And that way you just don't get hit in general. And then about here and it'll be fine. And then we can kind of do extra damage to where she goes across. And you see the red flashing of the character there, that means you're doing the damage. And then because we collected those notes, the fight actually wound up going a lot quicker. The thing is, you want to get the really short notes so that you just like pick them up, hit down select, or not select, but spacebar. And that way you're able to just like go in and out of the little message that pops up, because some of them are really, really long and you just do not want to pick those up because it takes way more time than it's worth. And then you see this mirror image of that message on the ground. That is actually a little secret there as well, because in one of the other rooms there's a mirror, and it's like you're seeing mirrored text, and then all of a sudden there's a mirror, and it's like, you put 2 and 2 together, and you get like some neat little extra notes and extra lore. So we're just going to go down here and get the best ending, which is maybe not the best ending for this guy, but it's the best ending for us, and that's what matters. So that will be Fate Chapter 1. And typically for the end of a run, we wait until the title card draws up. And you get that little title card saying like, oh, you've received ending like 1 through 5, because there's 5 different endings. This is just the good ending that counts in marathon %. And then after that, you'll get a little note like, hey, here's some extra lore. At this time, it'll involve Michael saying, oh, there's like a chupacabra that people have found, and it's really strange. We don't know what's happening. But nevertheless, I'm sure it'll all blow over. And we get this nice little note then as well from John as well, who is a priest and had worked in that little house before, but unfortunately couldn't save Amy at the time, so he came back to try and help her. And as you can see, don't know what happened, but maybe we did the right thing. We're not really sure, but we're just going to trust good instinct there. And this will be the title card, for instance. It'll tell you which ending you got, and then just a little note, and then we're going to go immediately into chapter 2, because that is just how marathon % works. You don't have to like get booted back out to a main menu or anything. You just go straight into the next one. And if you don't get the right ending, well, just kind of try again. So the tech that was shared, thank you Erdorf, by the way. If you're just doing like a casual run of this, you hit new game, immediately back out and continue from the start point, and you cut down you get like double Crux Tech essentially. So Crux Tech, and then add like double the damage on top of that for all the enemies. We've recently been able to find out how to get to the last boss as well with that same tech, and it's pretty goddamn cool. The initial issue was like, oh hey, there are cutscenes. How are we supposed to do that when there's like double damage? And then it kind of soft locks you, because that's what happened to me. I found that there was a bit of a soft lock. Just wait until the cutscene ends. Ta-da! It didn't dawn on me for a while, and then it's just like, oh yeah, that's actually that's pretty neat. But yeah, we see Michael again. He's a recurring character, and this is someone who was trying to help him for the entire time. There were notes also alluding to this happening in Fate Chapter 1, but we didn't see it up until this moment. And there's little media references here and there in this game, which I really do adore. Some of them are kind of like, you know, scary sort of things in nature. Like I Have a Body of a Pig. It's just like in a video, pretty much. Like, you know, it was faked, but it was cool anyway. And then it's like, it's 2 a.m. that shows up as actually a hint towards a puzzle that happens later on down the road. And yeah, this one actually has some puzzles involved. The 2 a.m. one doesn't like come into play until about halfway through the game. But yeah, we don't really... The funny thing is, in this one, we don't bother too much about notes unless it's for very specific endings. We're not bothering about that because we're trying to get a good ending involving one of the other characters that we meet at the very end of the game again. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But in the meantime, we're going to go into this little save chapel. And you want to... Usually you just keep hitting up on your keyboard, whatever, like through WASD or just through the actual numpad or like, you know, up-down directional buttons. I use up-down directional buttons. You want to let up on that little screen and then hit it again, because otherwise you just get stuck in place. So you may have seen that there were 3 little ghosts that just dissipate from those people's bodies, and we gotta hunt them down. So this guy here I'm going to be very careful of, because he can be very erratic in his movements. So I'm going to try and stay away from him, because he's a little bit of... he's a quick one. He's definitely a quick one. So usually, now getting back to that double crux tech that I was mentioning, that whole boss fight you can literally clear in like 10 seconds flat, like, or less than. Like if it took 10 seconds, it would be 5. And it really counts up. And the same thing happens with this guy then too, that we're going to be meeting. Again, there's a puzzle involved. You got to go right up, then left up again. You'll get a little, like a little show of the demon as they're about to get ready to fight. And then we just continue about things. These are a really nice crux tech, which needs to be refreshed every now and then, depending on what kind of enemy you're fighting. From here, it doesn't need to be refreshed. But we do just... want a refresher from the baby. That was actually pretty clean. He was being very, very mean earlier, so I'm very happy about that. And you see little changes, like the statues no longer have heads anymore. And we're just going to kind of go down a little bit like this. Moving straight, you move kind of slightly faster, but if you're moving like diagonally, you lose a little bit of speed. So you just... it's one of those things that can kind of help you get a little bit of a higher position on the board if you're interested in that kind of thing. Or just a, you know, better time in general. Hey, we all love it. And then we just... unfortunately, we haven't been able to find a way to just activate this thing over here. Through the gate. There's just enough space to really separate you from being able to use crux tech there. And then we're just going to go around, and there's like, ooh, somebody following you. Because the statues have even moved. And then we're going to go straight up, because there is one last guy there. One of the very last little ghosties that we gotta get, like, go and take care of. This one has a little cutscene, but we're going to try and avoid it by going like this and then really close to the tree while using crux tech, and the moment the cutscene ends, he's gone. So that was the one that initially was causing the issue with the new crux tech. I was like, wait, how are we supposed to like do that? But instead we just activate the cutscene first and then use crux tech, and that kind of just resolved the issue by itself. It's still pretty quick. So initially you see like 4 of those skulls, they all had their eyes kind of glowing. And now none of them are glowing because we've all given a sacrifice. So we're going to ignore the fact that our eye is bleeding now. And we're going to line up with this little like cross on the top. I'm going to try and line up. And as soon as you hear that little sound effect, you can kind of usually get in. Usually lining up, like giving that statue a high 5 and then going all the way to the left, it lets you skip around that little area. Otherwise you got to go all the way around, and it's just a bit of a time sink. And then you just see a random tree that runs away and then a bunch of trees. It is actually pretty good design. I do like it. And then there's just a random child, you know, it's not our problem. And this is when we encounter the spindly lady. And the spindly lady can be either really nice or really mean. So we gotta go in and out of these rooms, but not too quick, otherwise the spindly lady gets you. and then you gotta start again. Thank you! Okay, so there is a little bit of text sometimes. So when you're going in these hallways here, she can sometimes spawn like closer to you. Like that. You just gotta be really careful. That's all, pretty much. That she doesn't get you. But she is a big fan of carrot cake. You'll understand why when you listen to the sound effect. Like that. And then we just go down the stairs. Darkness surrounds thee. So remember that 2 a.m. thing that I mentioned? This is when it comes into play. It's a bit like halfway through here. And then you see this little clock. It's like it starts at 2 a.m. and you just gotta go around from 2 a.m., which is down in this kind of little direction here. And you continue with that little clock segment. And you don't have to be like bang on the tiles here. You just want to be in the close proximity of them pretty much. And then, hey, we're able to go by. And if you fail that, what happens is you wind up being in complete darkness and all this music starts playing and it's like very scary. You don't want to be stuck in that situation because it can actually kill you. And this is when we do a little loop-de-loop, because sometimes the loop-de-loop actually breaks the... It gives you a bit of a shortcut, let's say, through a lot of... Because like even in chapter 1 we did the little loop-de-loop as well to get back to the car way quicker. And there are certain screens where the same thing happens, including in this one as well. In this chapter 2. And it's not a very nice message that we're getting right now. So as soon as you hear that music, you gotta start hammering on that, like, the S button, like, down button. Otherwise, like, everything's pretty automatic. And then, we're now a spider. Alright, we're just gonna go loop-de-loop around here, and then just go straight up. There is a little... Obviously, there's 3 different endings in this compared to the 5 that was in chapter 1. And there's an arrow there telling you to go back down, so there's extra content. It's alluding to that. And inside Candy Tunnel, eventually there is a little area again where you're just able to say, hey, there's some weird symbols here blocking my path if you didn't do certain things, but if you do those certain things, you unlock a new little ending, which I think is pretty cool. It's not the good ending though, so we're going to be trying to get that instead. So we're going to be doing our best to protect a certain individual when we get to them. And again, there's like, you know, little arrows pointing at stuff that's very good for information, but at the same time, we don't really need it. I like to push it there regarding the sudden presence of the Peekaboo Demon, as he is so nicknamed. Because he just kind of like, hey, he's a little shy. He's a shy guy. So if you see 2 pixels of one side of his leg and 1 pixel of the other, you're free to move. Don't ask me how many times I played that game to figure this out. But you can move freely at that point and then just continue about your merry way. And you see the arrows there telling you to go up, so it's just like, hey, alright, cool. But if you continue back and forth, you get extra lore because there's a node down on the other side. It's just like, oh, there's a blood hole here. I don't know. But you just get extra little lore just by exploring and, you know, hey, you know, you gotta love exploration in your game sometimes, at least on a casual run. This is not one, however, so we're just gonna be ignoring them. And initially in version, I think it was version 1 of this game when it released, you were able to just use Crux tech really simply. It's going to get very dark in this area, by the way, which is why we gotta pick up a torch. But if you were able to stay relatively far away from this boss fight, he wouldn't move. So we're using Crux tech again, and... hi. He would not move initially, and you'd just be able to take him down, which is kind of funny because in survival mode, his AI never got updated to the one that is used in marathon mode. It's definitely one of those. It's a fun little thing though. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but it's cool. You want to be careful not to go right in the middle, because for runs I use version 1.2. The current version is 1.4. Version 1.2 differs because there are certain cutscenes, portions of cutscenes are no longer, like, they haven't been implemented yet. And there are certain skips that were not removed. That is in particular regarding chapter 3, which will surprisingly be coming up kind of soon, actually. We're nearly done with this one. We just gotta fight the last boss and it's kind of it. Pick up a note and everything's cool. There's some neat little stuff though as well, like you see the symbols again. I actually don't know the relevance here when it's just like part of a clock, but you get like Enochian language here and like the language of angels and stuff. And then obviously you get a little note on the floor. So we're using Crux tech here because we gotta exercise this little painting here. I notice that sometimes yeah, we also gotta avoid the thralls. They really hate that light. But I did notice sometimes the cone of damage, if you're not facing a enemy head-on, sometimes the enemies take less damage, and I'm not sure if it's dependent on what version of the game you're playing. And I'm not sure if it actually still works in that same way in version 1.4. So, you know, it's kind of something to kind of figure out in that regard. So, someone's not very happy about us being here, but alas, it is what it is. Hey, there's that buddy I mentioned earlier. So, we really need to protect this guy with our life, literally. And there is a little bit of kind of tech here. It's not guaranteed to work, but sometimes if you go kind of a little to the left, Vicetra kind of found this out, where you go a little to the left and then back into the center here. Sometimes Garcia will stay like bang on in the center of the arena, which is really helpful because the boss has like different like areas that they'll move to. And it's better just being in the middle because it gives you better access to when the boss fight the boss actually changes where they are standing. Because they teleport. See, like that. So we got them bang on in the center, and that is so good actually. And you see all these little little purpley things on the sides, those are also doors, and you really want to protect our buddy here. So that we can actually get the good ending. But also, he is pretty handy in a fight. He will let you know where the fake Miriam is, because there's also some shenanigans afoot with that one as well. Like in chapter 1, when Amy was showing up with like fake little images of herself, the same thing happens here too. You leave my man alone, goddammit. But yeah, we're just gonna do this about 3 times in total. And if anything happens to our friend here, we kinda gotta go with him, just in order to reset the room. But so far, it's looking like a GCB run. And we'll see how far that goes. Hopefully I didn't jinx anything just by saying that. We're gonna be trying our best here to protect our buddy because, well, you guys are like being really super aggressive, just being like spawning really close by. Usually they will be on the top rows entirely, but yeah, we're down here. She doesn't really come down here so much actually, now that I think of it. At least not in my personal runs. So hold down Crux Tech here, because as soon as this ends, we get to do extra damage here, and we can see her in the dark, and we want to deal as much damage to her in a single blow as possible. And we're gonna be you can do this, by the way, or just do this to kind of find where she's at. The only issue is when she comes in at you from a diagonal sort of angle, you're probably not gonna do that much damage to her, compared to when she's just coming at you like straight like this sort of angle. But yeah, I see you. And this is like phase 1. Again, there's 3 phases to this boss fight, and right now we're just kind of going with the flow. There we go. So diagonal patterns like our guy in the cemetery would normally do, but we kind of nuked him a little too quick for him to be able to show that. Again, Crooksex's going to be coming major and clutch. So there is a thing called pauseless. You can just hit the side of the side of your spacebar in order to activate it. Just you gotta be kind of quick with it. And 1.5 seconds to hit her here, by the way, before she kind of starts going on the inverted cross. But yeah, it's chill. The pauseless crux does work in chapter 2 and it does work in chapter 3, just under very strange circumstances. It's not as predictable as in chapter 1. And then obviously if you're just not looking to hit pause and unpause again, you can tab out of your game as well and then tab back in. Sometimes it's quicker, but I like the way that I do it. I find that's a little bit quicker because I've gotten so used to it. So this will be coming towards the end of chapter 2 right now, and we'll be having chapter 3 very, very soon. So we gotta get this little node, see what's going on. Hey, what's up, Father Garcia? And Father Garcia wants to employ us for more help because we are not done with our job. So there's a lot of notes being missed out in this, so a lot of the lore is kind of just being skipped over. So with chapter 2, there was the introduction more of the boys. which is meant to be like Amy's brothers, pretty much. And they were also in danger at the time of things, and we were trying to help them too, but Amy just kind of took the forefront because she was really grabbed by a cult that is in this game, because imagine that, there's a cult in a horror game. But yeah, we're trying to stop the cult now. There's a much larger threat at hand, and Amy was the catalyst for it because they decided she was the one that they wanted. I just immediately skipped out of the little title card there so that we could get into this one way sooner. So the entirety of this beginning is about like a minute long. It's just kind of like a flashback sort of deal. Everything's in black and white, and it's just a recollection of events to the best of our knowledge anyway. We do play as a character who is an unreliable narrator, and we just kind of have to piece things together because the way that he's telling the story isn't exactly matching up with the lore notes that we're picking up here and there. And it's just kind of one of those things where we're trying our best, and you know, John's trying his best too. And this would be Father Alred, who was also in Chapter 2. We kind of get them mixed up as well because both Father Garcia, who we meet in this game, as well as in, you know, there's mention then in like Chapter 2, they're both like, the grey is their colour for both of them, so we kind of get them mixed up. It's the same for Tiffany and Amy sometimes in this game as well. Tiffany's kind of more pinkish, and Amy's like more of a colour, purple, deeper colour. Like, okay, because we're going to be taking our time here. So that would be the colour representing Amy, and that's her mother and her father, and they're here right now, and they're just asking for help with the youngest, or their daughter. And because things just take so long, we just kind of mess around and just like, hey, how you doing? And then we just continue on as the story progresses. But there's one thing actually that I need to let you know about. If you consider running this game, stay in the middle of the staircase and don't touch the wall here. Sometimes Father Alred likes to disappear. He goes out of bounds of the game, which means you don't get to hit the trigger point down here. I and another runner, Fun, who has also found so many skips as well in this game. There's so many great people in the community who's just come together to find these skips, but he's also been noticing this has been happening too, so I'm not alone in that. I'm so glad for that in a way. I'm sorry, dude. But it just means I'm not alone in this issue. There's a lot of glitches in this game, by the way. If you're interested in glitch hunting, this may be one of the games for you. I don't know. So that was a complete, like, a nightmare or like a, you know, dream sequence, or it could just be a recollection of events in general. So just like in Chapter 2, when we woke up from our nightmare, we have 3 days now until the Profane Sabbath. And the Profane Sabbath is going to be orchestrated by the cult, who we have to now stop. So Chapter 3 is going to be the longest of all of the runs, or the runs that you can do, as evidenced by probably the timer right now. So this one takes about like an hour, like the lowest we have right now is about an hour and 32 seconds for ending 2. Because, thank you, Fun, again, because they also discovered wall boosting, and it needs very precise conditions for that to work. You need to be running this game in windowed mode, but have the screen set to 100% in size for the skip to actually work. We are not doing that right now because it goes kind of finicky in when you're trying to record stuff as well, I noticed, so we're just not going to be doing that. And we're just going to be doing like the usual strats, and it's also a very recent kind of finding that we've now been able to use. It in a 2.5 minute run up the staircase, there's an actual example given. We saved about 4 seconds, so with that being like 3 being the longest of the chapters, you could really utilize that. So we're just picking up a crowbar. You can find little weird like symbols on the wall. They do have relevance, but just we don't realize it yet. Again, this is version 1.2, so we're going to be able to skip a whole host of like different stuff. Well, not a whole host, but a decent enough chunk of like parts of cutscenes, and certain skips haven't been patched out in this one yet, so that will be very highly evident in this section of the game. So I'm going to do something that's more kind of marathon safe. Usually you really chance things here. And that's kind of just getting around here. Jeremy's coming. Believe it or not, we are hidden. We are hidden in plain sight. Don't ask me how it works, but I'm very glad that it does. And I think, was it Minus the 12th found this out actually and was just kind of optimizing things, and I thought that was pretty cool. And found this out as well in the process. So Jeremy's kind of looking at things. So as soon as he goes there, we can go straight down here. And as soon as he passes the threshold of that curtain, we're free to move. But you can chance things, but it can be very, very tight movements, so you don't really want to do that in like something that you're trying to actually be. I am aiming for GCP, by the way. Good Christian boy, which is you do not die. You just do not die even once. So I'm gonna do this so that we're kind of focusing in the direction back towards the staircase. Again, about that threshold of the cadaver, I suppose, the top one, or like slightly below that. When Jeremy kind of retreats, we're going to be able to come back outside and just be able to trigger a cutscene by doing that. Again, I'm just going to be playing this a little bit safer, so no, there is fine. So even though he's like still walking off the screen, it's like with Fate Chapter 2, you can kind of move even though they're not entirely off the screen, and this one hasn't even reached that level of like peekaboo demon shenanigans. So this guy just decided to break in to where we also broke in, to be fair. So there is a little bit of tech here. And we're going to try it. So you activate Crook's tech, and as soon as you kind of come out here, because you're being like shooed out of here, there is a very particular setup to get Jeremy here. A lovely lad. And you want to get him kind of close. And then go about here, and then let's see if we actually get it. Ah, we were shy of one bullet, because it takes that amount of bullets to actually down this guy. And then we're just free to leave. So I'm gonna be trying. Hey, buddy, do you wanna help out? You got the one thing that could really help us out in this run. This guy is notorious for this. Can you please be nice? Please be nice. Really? Oh, I've never actually seen him act up like this. There's a first time for everything, huh? Please? My dude. My dude in Christ. Please. What is this? You know what? We're just dancing at this point. Do you mind? Thank you. Ah, right on top of the note. Also, you don't have to go to the door. The cutscene here triggers automatically. So you don't have to go to the door. But yeah, we have broken out, even though we broke in. Because we're being kind of shit, I suppose. And the hippies have set fire to this guy's car. He's very upset about it. I will be too. And we're just going to go back in. We're just going to ignore the fact that we had to leave. And we're just going to have a little wander around. So remember that stretcher that we were kind of like stuck to? Wouldn't it be fun if we just got back on it? I think that'd be kind of fun. So we get a little thing here. Normally where it says join us in the bottom left there, you're meant to just wait. And you're meant to wait for a little while. Whereas in this version of the game I'm playing, you can just utilize a little skip here. I don't know what happened there, but thank you for letting us down Patrick Games. Yeah. So we're going to get this little... We're hearing that like submarine or like, you know, radar kind of sound as well, which is definitely something, and, you know, some weird imagery. Kind of Rorschach in nature, but nevertheless, probably one of the best pieces of dialogue in the game is going to come up. I do enjoy that. As well as another piece of dialogue that's probably going to come up. So there was a very special occasion where the game did get updated, and there is a little bit of an extra piece added to the following cutscene here. Sometimes when you're meant to hit, like, trigger cutscenes. If you bring up your crooks, you're able to activate it a little bit earlier. Typically in the end of Fate Chapter 2, I should have actually mentioned it there, you can use your crooks a little bit earlier to activate that cutscene. I just do it by default now, because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But there is usually, in Fate version 1.4 of this game, there's more tacked onto this cutscene. It's only about a second long, so you're not really missing out on too much, but, you know, it's nice having that little extra kind of cut off for speed's sake. So we're not really interested. There's like 2 vents on the wall, and some more off to the sides. It's not very... You just gotta stand here. It's the easiest mini boss fight in the entirety of the game, so it's keep attacking here. You also have the option of going up like slightly diagonally from one of our legs to prevent the spawn of of demon babies, essentially. The demon babies have glowing red eyes, that's how you can tell the difference. I don't really see the point in doing it because you can just stand here and it may or may not be quicker because there's 2 areas for the demon babies to come out from, so from either side of her, rather than just one area. So we don't have to worry about that really at all. But yeah, the babies kind of like crawling at you, just slow down your movement, that's all. They thankfully do not harm you. So we're just going to keep doing this for a little while. And basically as soon as you hear, like, I don't know any other way to describe it, but a cacophony of children, you're just gonna wait for like a really loud noise, and then you're just able to walk away. You don't have to keep using your crooks tech on or whatsoever. Like now, when it gets really loud, you can just walk away. She's fine, she's done. And then we're able to leave. You will, after each and every single one of these fights, you will get access to a note. Feel free to pick it up or don't. If you pick it up, it's just kind of a bit of a time loss, but you do get some nice little music as a result of doing so. So, yeah, if that's your jam, go for it. And we are going to go and climb up the stairs. We're just going to go home now, basically, because we've kind of fulfilled our duty here. No more worries. Everything's kind of been cleansed. Jeremy is no more. Who knows what happened to police officer, because we're not going to find out during this run at all. And actually, we don't even have to worry about the note here either. That's actually pretty cool. I saved myself a little bit of a hassle there. In a weird way, just because I was able to take that route instead of just going left. Because it was closer. And then after each and every time that you go through these like secret little areas, you'll get this pop-up and it's just, hey, a part of this weird seal kind of breaks down and disappears. Our aim in this game, like this particular chapter, is to get rid of all of them. And that gives us access to the proper final boss, otherwise you're just kind of stuck with like a fake boss, I suppose. You still get an ending, but just not the best ending. And this is another kind of dream sequence that we're having right now with Father Elred. We just want to stand on that very particular point because that's when a Bible spawns. We read from it, and then we decide to throw it away. And we get a new Bible. And then we start reading from it again. And then, you know what, we just do the usual kind of exorcism shenanigans and, you know, we throw our Bible away and then we pick it back up again. And we do this a total of 4 times. I don't know why. And then afterwards we're just gonna, like the kid, you know, that's being exorcised, that's Amy right now. And unfortunately the parents come back down and he's got some really swell glasses. Those actually do appear again later in the game. I don't know if it's actually relevant whatsoever, like plot-wise, but it seemed like it might have been. But nevertheless, we're just going to bring our parents back upstairs because it may be distressing and then feeding into the demon that is happening right now. And we're just going to... You get extra lore if you just stay up there, but we're not gonna. And thankfully, staying at the side of the staircase there is okay here. It just can cause a glitch otherwise at the very start of the game, that's all. It actually used to cause the game to crash. Thankfully that got patched out, so that was pretty nice. And then, hey, the lore behind getting our own crooks. And then we wake up again. So depending on the ending as well, that cross at the back actually turns upside down. But thankfully, we're not going to be seeing that because that's like the worst ending you can actually possibly get. It's also the shortest, but nevertheless. So, there's a total of 3 areas in this game. Naturally, we have just taken down 1. We do not go into that room, just ignore it. Pretend it doesn't even exist. And then we're just going to avoid all these notes. We are not paying our bills today, or any of these days. And then we're going to go to Area 2. So, Area 2 is basically going to be it'll be quick enough. It's usually like the 3rd area. This is the, the apartment complex. Area 3 is going to be the longest one. And there's a lot of like fun little mechanics here as well, I think. But if you do kind of have like photosensitivity, it's probably not the area for you. I'm just going to mention that like straight up because there's like flash photography sort of stuff going on. So we're gonna go on to floor 3. We gotta memorize. We gotta go to floor 3. Then we go to floor 5, and on the 3rd floor, it's the only floor that we have to go to. The apartment B. The rest of them are all just apartment A. And we have that little screen here. A nice little key is kind of shining, and it's like, hey, I want that. So we take it, and then we leave. No need to explain. Hi, Tiffany. So, it's more of a pink shade that depicts Tiffany, but it can be so easily misrepresented for Amy, because even I thought that back when the demo was out. So you want to go to floor 5, and 5A is in one of the letters that is sent to John, saying like, hey, if you need me in room 5A, blah blah blah, find the key, this little place, have fun. There's absolutely nobody in this apartment complex, by the way. So we're just gonna do that because we have to use it on the seal here. There's a little note just in case you need it. You do have to activate that though, regardless. And we're just gonna take a little shortcut through here. It doesn't save a lot of time, but it definitely saves a little bit. And hey, every little counts. And then we got that extra key. So what's the extra key for? It is for the 10th floor. So you can hit down and left to take a little bit of a shortcut through the menuing. It doesn't actually work on the on one of the little thresholds. I think it's 1. You can't hit left on that one. You just gotta work with that. And then we're just gonna have to give up something that is very, very important to us in this very room. And what's the one thing we've been using this entire game? Well, it's our cross. And that's gonna go all the way to the basement. There is a TV you can look through just to have a look down into the basement and stuff, but yeah, now we see all these little candles and there's a heck of a lot of these weird little demon dudes. And from here you can click any floor. First floor is the one that comes up first naturally, so I just hit that. It's not a very happy elevator ride all of a sudden. So we're going to go all the way down to floor 4, and we're just going to be working our way in pretty much complete darkness, if I'm honest, because I try not to use the camera. Using the camera, there is like a 1 in 23 chance that you'll see an image of Malphus, one of the major demons that is mentioned in the game from the Lesser Keys of Solomon. So we're just going to kind of work our way around here. There's a staircase here, believe it or not. And we're going to be going through here as much as possible in the dark, because sometimes when you use your little camera, what can happen is you'll wind up just kind of being transported to an attic room, and you really don't want to be in that attic because sometimes you can get out really, really quickly, and other times you don't. So we're just going to be going through here. Do not use your camera here, in the center here in particular, because there are cultists. We're just not going to bother them. We're going to leave them alone, because they're also going to leave us alone in the process. If you wind up using your camera there, you're probably going to get a little cutscene that'll say chaos reigns, and, well, you'll have to redo the section again. And then we're just going to go back outside, and it should be around here. Yep, there it is. And then we go left, because it's left, right, left, typically for the actual pattern going around here. And then we're just going to go down the stairs here. Even though we don't see the candles, eventually they do light back up and whatnot, but we're just going to ignore that. And then we're just going to go around here and back on up into this room here. And I do believe it is here. So remember the Peekaboo demon from chapter 2? Hi, how you doing? This is the one time we actually have to use the camera properly. And if you can memorize the next section, hey, fine. But it doesn't matter in that next section whether or not you use your camera. That's the main thing. It's pretty cool. I mean, he's just looking for his mother. It's just one of them things. It's fine, but it's not fine for us, because if he gets us, well, then he gets us. And he also, in that downstairs area in version 1.2, I'm not sure if it's the same in... This happens! Why? He wall hacks. Wall hacks. Actual wall hacks. That's not fair. Demon dude, you're not supposed to do that. I haven't gotten that over, like, years, actually. But it normally would happen in the room prior, this one. That he would just go through the walls. But that's not meant to happen, and unfortunately our GCP run is now null and void. Nevertheless, we can still achieve the good ending, believe it or not, which is pretty cool. And I'm very happy about that, so we're gonna try a little extra hard this time. We're gonna try extra hard to not get got. Because for some reason there, this little dude decided, hey, walls don't apply to him. So we're gonna go right this time, instead of left. And I'm being a little bit cheeky there by using that outside in the hallways here, because otherwise, you never know. You might get teleported, or you might get an image of Malphus. And Malphus is... you know what, he's not a bad dude. I'm sure he's not a bad dude. We're gonna keep walking this way now. And worry not, because we're actually just about to enter the basement pretty soon. Don't worry about it. And one of the things about the upcoming little section is we get to get rid of Peekaboo Demon. Especially for what he just did. Heck yeah. So... I'm gonna try my best to 2-cycle him. Thankfully you can 2-cycle him, you just gotta like really run at him sometimes. And so around here, now we should be in the laundry room. Yeah, because we can go right. And then, hey, lo and behold, there's our crux. And in each and every game, the crux has a different color, which I think is kind of cool. It's meant to be like a symbolism, like a decline of faith sort of deal. And about here you can use your crux on a mask, and later on a ritual dagger. That will be in... yeah, like it'll be on floor 2, room A. So this is where we're going to be having that next little fight. We want to tackle him like that, pretty much. And I'm going to refresh. And yes! 2-cycled. And we want to be careful, even though you down him, sometimes he'll go into this screen here, and he'll get you, and you just got to do it all over again. So just keep that in mind, wait for him to disappear first. And here's a little bit of tech here. Just into the wall, and then to the right. Hold down those buttons as well, like keep holding them down, because that way you will not just start wandering the halls, because sometimes that can happen and you go back down the staircase and you just lose time. This way you just remain put and you don't have to worry about anything. Not about your time loss anyway. So we just keep walking into the wall. It doesn't actually matter. Whereas if you don't do that, what can happen is you just, under that possession, you will just wander the hall in all directions, sometimes forward, but not very often. And this is a time now when we go to 2A. I used to go to floor 2A, or like floor 2 apartment A, like way before, but it was a waste of time actually in the end, so we just do it now. And this will be the last piece of the little puzzle. And then we get to go back to floor 5 and actually meet Lisa. And then again, just before the sofa, you're able to reach that little piece of ritual paraphernalia with your cone of vision. Well, the Crux's cone of vision. And naturally then, yeah. So Lisa is going to be a potential make or break here. Scariest part of the whole run. But I'm going to make it extra marathon safe. Usually you would kind of lure her down to the door so that you get her as, like, you kind of have to depend on Lisa exiting the door really, really quickly in order for the battle to kind of cease entirely. But other than that, you're pretty chill to just kind of lure her behind like demon statues and just get her stuck there. Hey, Lisa. So, this is when we meet a little demon called Alu. I forget from which culture he's from, I'm not sure. But it's a kind of cool demon. It reminds everyone, I think, pretty much of Baphomet. And Baphomet, depending on where you're from. But yeah, nevertheless, hi Lisa. Be nice. Thank you. So that's kind of what I mean by keeping her towards the door. And then the first one that this demon goes into, in terms of the statue, is the one you want to go for. Okay, and then we just want to keep holding down spacebar to continue that crux tech, but you kind of want to refresh it after every time. Oh, really? There we go. Gotcha. And then we just don't want to get too close because he will turn you into a pancake if you get too close to him. And again... Which one's he gonna go into? Oh, it's this one. Sometimes he will continuously go into the same one, like, in a row. And when that happens, it's actually pretty chill. It's pretty chill when he does that because, you know, you love seeing that little bit of, stuff that'll work with you. Really? There we go. Okay, so... Sometimes Lisa will be closer to the door than normal, but then you can leave as soon as she leaves. We don't need to talk to her. I'm sure she's fine. We're just gonna listen to the gut feeling here and say, you know what, something feels a little bit different in the air. So why don't we play the elevator game? It's based on a little creepypasta from like way back, and I do appreciate its inclusion because it threw me for a loop because I was trying to find notes the entire time the first time I was trying to play this, and I was like, I found both the notes and it's just like, are you actually serious? So the way it's like floor 1, floor 4, floor 2, floor 6, floor 2 again, floor 10, floor 5, and then floor 1. That is the numerals that we have to click, or the floors that we have to click for each of these little floors. It takes a little bit of time and we may or may not get lucky. And what I mean by getting lucky is that sometimes a woman actually gets onto the elevator. She doesn't always get on the elevator, but when she does, I consider it a sign of good luck. And I'm really hoping that she actually turns up because that would actually be really goddamn cool. And it's normally about here. So floor 2. And then floor 10. It's usually about floor 10 or floor 5, I think, actually. 2, 10, and then 5, and then a 1. And if we're lucky, we'll get her. She's... Based on the creepypasta, when she gets on board, you're meant to ignore her. You do not interact with her at all, but you kind of have to move towards the buttons again. Because she gets you. She will absolutely get you, and she does not care about it. She's not shy at all. And then we go to floor 5, and this may or may not be the time when she gets on board. And then after this we hit floor 1. You're not meant to get off on the 10th floor, by the way, in the creepypasta. But, hey, why don't we bend the rules a little? Oh, she didn't show up. Oh, what a shame. Sometimes she doesn't, sometimes she does. It's just a matter of just, you know, look at the draw, I suppose. And then even though we hit 1, we go up to floor 10. Normally when she gets on, you just ignore her and she'll just say, where are you going? Because you're not meant to do it. It breaks the rules, and then you wind up in an alternate dimension. Ignore that guy with the kid, it's fine. We're just gonna go in here now. And we're gonna meet somebody that we saw on TV. Hi. It's Tiffany. Completely headless. So... Initially, when this game came out, the final boss took about, let's say, 5 minutes before the nerf. The nerf just made it really so much easier to get GCB, like a Christian Boy achievement. But the final boss in this entire game, in my opinion, is Tiffany. Tiffany is the DVD menu screen enemy of the entire game, and it's a hell of a boss. because she is gonna be very, very angry if we're very unlucky. But there is a little trick that we can use, and that is getting her stuck on walls. We can also be a little bit unlucky because she goes further out of bounds and we gotta wait a little bit of time before she gets back in bounds. But the music for this is actually pretty killer. I do actually like it. It's the same with the last boss music as well. That's a bop of a tune. On the bright side, she has a head now, I guess, kind of. More of a parasite, but it looks like a necromorph, actually. But yeah, she tried to do the ritual on herself. It didn't work. She's a rejected vessel. And now it begins. So every enemy in the spot, like the entirety of the games, have their own unique little hitboxes as well. You don't have to worry so much about the wings, you just have to worry about Tiffany and her exact hitbox. Now be nice. So you can get close like this. I'm gonna try and chance my arm here, no pun intended. But like you can do, are you gonna be nice? You gonna be nice and let me show this off? You're gonna be so mean and not let me show it off. I can't believe it. I really want to. I'll show it off though. But it just won't have been that time. Don't worry about it. So she's going to be zip-zap zooming around the room. Sometimes at areas that you're just not going to be able to predict sometimes. But we're just going to avoid her as much as possible and at all costs. You'll be also noticing this weird little triangle in the middle of arenas here and there. Because it's just based on like ceremonial magic. Kind of stuff where you're just summoning demons and what. Juana, can you be nice for me? Like, please? Thank you. She can be really unpredictable. She's meant to go in the opposite direction a lot of the time for like a bunch of stuff, and then just decides to not do that. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna bring her up here. And she'll do that. So you can get really close and just start doing like a little bit of a shuffle. And she's gonna be really slow and be really... Whoa, I got lucky. I got super lucky. You just want to stay out of the way as much as possible, but you also see those little like ghosties that come out of her as well sometimes. Those are actually lore relevant. In the entirety of the block, like particularly in the basement of this whole like little section, you will see like, oh, you know, there's no floor 7 and stuff like that. Can you please be nice? But there's like, it's not 7 and 70 times 7 in particular is in the basement. That one in particular is how, like, it throws you for a loop because you're just like, what the heck does that mean again? Like, what does that mean? And the whole time you're fighting Tiffany, you'll see all these ghosts come out. And that's a good indicator for what's going on. That is so rude. That is so rude, Tiffany. Tiffany is the final boss of this game, in my opinion. And I think it's because you have so many cheese kind of ways of dealing with the final boss that it's just with this one, you just gotta kind of play by the rules sometimes. So we're just gonna play by the rules, I think. And this is a DVD menu that I was mentioning though, just going all around the goddamn place. So let's see. Can we be very nice, Tiffany? I would really appreciate that, you know? Because you can't really chance things. Like, I did actually chance it there, I will admit. I'm going to have to stop doing that because it's not being very nice to me right now. So, even though GCB is dead, we have perfect access to the actual good ending, regardless. So I'm going to stay away from her. You're not very nice to me today. God dang. She woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Clearly, like, far more than usual. And you can kind of give it like tell when she's gonna stop, so it'll be about like then. You get a couple of seconds of her just kind of roaming around all over the place versus just when it's actually, hey, that's perfect. Thank you. And there she gets stuck. And it's pretty nice having her around this kind of section because you can just continuously get her stuck just until she's very mean and does that sort of stuff. You gotta be kind of careful around that point. In particular then, because she's not going to be very nice at all. Ooh, being very mean that time. There we go. So because she's kind of in bounds, we're going to kind of hope that we bring her down here. More so than leaving her up there. And then she gets a little bit spicy, you know. She can get a little bit spicy. The more and more you continue it, especially, oh god, on like times 2 and 4. She is so off. She's so mean to fight against, especially times 4. It took me about an hour before I actually got that run done. It's highly possible though, thankfully. And it's actually pretty cool when you do get it down, because it's like, oh hey, that's actually pretty goddamn cool. Okay, you're gonna be nice to me, right? Be extra nice. Oh. Yeah, now she's being extra spicy. Tiffany, be nice. Thank you. And that's that fight. So she has 7 times 77 spirits inside of her. And they all just go away. They've now been released from their confines, and the spidery essence is not going to get me. Sorry, Tiffany. And now we get to go home. We get to go home. For the moment, you know, until we have to leave again. So we're just going to drop a couple floors. So remember when I said that there is no floor 7? Believe it or not, there is. This is when you actually do get to access the 7th floor. You get to wander around, have a little bit of a, like, extra lore for why there may have been like 7 times 77 demons, or bodies, I suppose, that were, because they were sacrifices, unfortunately. But we're not going to check it out. Feel free to do that on your own whim if you would so desire, but nevertheless, we're just gonna go home. Ah, sweet release from just Tiffany's grasp there. And then we're just gonna go back to the car through this area, because it saves a little bit of time, instead of going all the way around. Because you can enter from that side of the vehicle too, which is, hey, neat. And then afterwards, just as before, we're gonna get a little scene here, where it's like, hey, congratulations, you got rid of another part of the seal. Well done. And this is underneath that little rectangle is pretty much where you're able to actually access the final boss, because otherwise it winds up that the little area there is covered with a djinn box or a demon box. And then you're not able to do the final boss, so hey. Hi there, how you doing? That's Meredith. We assume there is no concrete information on that. Meredith is a character that isn't really mentioned anywhere in the series other than in 3. But it's thought to be John's mum. It may, I don't know for sure, because it could also be just like Amy's mum, but I don't know for a fact. Sometimes she will appear up here and you might lose like a second or two, because if you go into her, like bump into her general area, she will waste like a second or two, because she has to just, the screen goes black and then you just have to wait a second or two for it to come back and be able to move again. So avoiding her as much as possible is pretty good. All you have to do is go the opposite, like around her pretty much, and then you're fine. And then we have that little bit of a lore dump here. And she's just trying to get under John's skin right now and make him kind of very unsteady in what he's trying to do. Everybody in the house is gone. This is part of the lore again, but I'm not going to mention it. You see that in Fae Chapter 1. Where Amy did some not very nice things while being under possession, and that's why everybody's kind of gone. So, there's a thunderstorm outside, so very atmospheric as well. And in one last ditch attempt, we gotta just use what we got in our hands here. And then we wake up. But the interesting part there is, like, parts of the dream sequences are actually in color, so he really, like, John really remembers those very vividly, compared to everything else, which is kind of in the background, that or just, you know, really trying to forget them. And this will be the last area then in the entire game, but also the longest, but also it's quite interesting in my opinion. And again, we're not paying these bills. And we're just gonna take the car instead. So the last area is the school, actually. Which, I mean, it makes sense. You're you know, like the boys that are kind of missing, and it's just one of those things, like, you gotta check it out. This is one area that the cult was actually working from. There is a very wacky kind of, like, end to things. Like a mortis screen, if you just go out that front door there. We're not gonna be doing that. But I would highly encourage anybody doing a casual run to just go outside. Just go outside, or at least look up what happens if you go outside. Because, at the very end of it, it's still a very comical kind of display, despite things. the fact that everybody just keeps, it never stops. And this is like the little area where you get all these little images, because there's a puzzle here. And you're able to activate 2 at once, which is pretty cool. Never even thought to do that. And then, so, it is orange, moon, bluebird, pink chalice, and then red star. And this is where it lives. This is the heart of the demon. Trust me, that'll be the only time you'll hear a noise as grating as that. The rest of it is it's alright. Like, it's an 8-bit game. Like, you kind of get that sort of soundtrack along with it, but some of the tracks are really, really good. And I mean, to be fair, like, you do hear Moonlight Sonata and everything, but nevertheless, some of the tracks that are, like, actually just, like, with Tiffany's boss fight music, for instance, that's pretty cool. The whole gist here is just stare at the painting. Because a little note tells you, stare into the eyes of my mother. And this is Miriam from chapter 2. And you'll kind of start seeing it, maybe? Kind of? At least there's a slight resemblance, if you think about it, I suppose. But nevertheless, originally in version 1, you were able to keep moving. But people, I think, got confused. Like, am I supposed to keep staring at the painting? I'm not sure. And then it's just, you're stuck staring at it now. And you even hear her voice. It's so similar. And this is when we start doing another little skip. Like, well, to be fair, it's actually directly after a cutscene, where then after that we do the skip. Yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit of that. A little bit more Crux text so that we can move around. They're gonna be talking about the second death a lot, but we're gonna be going up here because there's like these cables. And we're going to use Crux Tech because that's Andres, that's Baal. And that's Urduk, I think, from Hungarian mythology, who's also supposed to be a demon. We're just going to go with all 3 there, and then we're going to go back in, do it twice more. Baal is within closer proximity than the other guy, so we're just going to leave him. Stay on one side of these little cables, but fairly close, and then walk. Really? What? My man, you were meant to come from the other side. Nevertheless, it doesn't matter. You're just meant to stay on one side of the fence, so to speak, so that he, Gary, appears on the other side. And then you run into him so that you cut down on time. One of the things, with marathon mode is you cannot turn off needle mode. And needle mode just cuts off that little point where he's actually using the needle. I think it was originally meant for someone called Diana or something like that, or Dina, that the dev knew. But it doesn't work in marathon. And then we're just going to be seeing a bunch of different imagery mixed with the memories of what had happened. And, it's just like, okay. Remember that yellow character, individual Lisa, that we had previously known? It turns out that John just knew her. And it's like, oh, hey, realization's kind of kicking in. Either that or somebody very similar to Lisa was known, and there may have been implications that both were involved with the cult in some manner. One of the images is also overlapping with another game of Air Dwarfs, which is also free to play on Itch.io. I forget the name of it, but it's actually pretty cool. He may or may not have it still up, but when I played it was fun. Very, very simple as well, kind of like with this aesthetic of the 8-bit sort of game. But yeah, you get all this imagery and it's just like, hey, now you're ready. And then we're just going to leave. There are 2 ways of ending this particular section. Obviously, we're going with the quickest, which is just go out the door. You don't even need to aim for the door, just aim for the plant pot, or just this, because it has the same threshold, which is like right there. You don't have to go for the door whatsoever, so you can just keep going straight, and it's absolutely chill. And then you just turn around, it's like, oh, hey, Amy, want to get the light? Thanks. And then we just wake up. We had a nice little nap, but it's time to get back to work. So this would be kind of one of the sections, then it's kind of reaping, it's reaching that part of the game now where it's like, oh, we're going to learn so much more now. And we're going to be seeing a lot more bird imagery as well. Which is, and this is Moloch. There's a bunch of just random, Oh, it's happening again. I got pauseless to work. I don't know why it works there. It's one of the one areas that it actually does work in. It may have something to do with holding... You may or may not hold down, like, Crooks Tech. It does get rid of it, but, like, when that cutscene happens. And then we get this guy. You're meant to pass by those paintings properly, like, 3 times each, but you can just go in and out of the same room 3 times instead, and just skip the entire thing. You get a lot of Rorschach kind of imagery, but hey, you come from there. So depth perception when above enemies is it's a little bit strange. Like, it's all the same no matter where you're at, but it's a little bit more difficult to ascertain if he's too close or too far away, compared to just being directly beneath the enemies in general. So we're going to be doing this sort of thing. I'm not going to risk it too much, but I am risking it a little bit by being here. Compared to being in the other room, which has 3 different exit points, we're just going to do this. So he's almost done. Like, he's almost dead. It's just the very last demon that we got to get rid of before we actually have access to that last spot, you know, like getting that last little seal off the gin box. Yeah, there we go. He will stay in the same spot on every, like, section of the map that you pass through, so you can accidentally wind up walking into him. It's unfortunate if it happens, because then everything gets reset, and he gets a little bit of a health, like, he gets a top up on health if you do walk into him and you're trying to attack him, so it's just best to kind of, yeah, try not to do that, I suppose. And this little area actually is kind of neat. If you've ever played Sentinel 3, the same message is kind of being delivered here with 2 Fui Ego errors, like, oh, weird writing. What you are, what we are, you will be. What you are, we will become, that kind of thing. But yeah, there's also this thrall, so to speak, and we want to stay the heck away from them because they turn into plagas. The file name for them is plagas, from what I discovered, because I did go into the files. In, like, search for their little hitboxes each, but they are not very nice to people playing this game, so just stay out of their way. So this one up here, we gotta get like 3 little keys. This guy is fairly simple enough. You can stay really close to the glass window and then just turn around. And then just kind of stand your ground if you feel like it. And then we just get our wrestling mask. Alright. And so that is one of the other key. We have to get 3 keys in total because Moloch wants 3 offerings. This is a reference to something. I can't remember what it is anymore. I think it's like a music reference, or is it a music reference? I'm not sure. It's a reference to something for sure. Anyway, we have to play red light, green light in a moment. That is probably gonna be one little area because we have 2, not just 1 plaga, but 2 plaga coming up very, very soon. Ignore the fact that the walls are all painted in red. I'm sure it's just paint. So 1 foot on the ground for a little extra boost, and then we just wait. You're pretty safe getting to the first sconce. And then trying to inch a little bit closer, but yeah, usually it's 1 long, 1 short in terms of the speed of which the thrall turns around at. And one thing to keep in mind is that you hear that sound effect only after they turn around, which is when you turn her. She turns around quicker than she can say the noise, so you're gonna get got if you're not careful. And also, please be nice. Thank you. Bye bye. That's why you don't want to interact with the plagas. Those arms, 1, they can eat you. 2, they can grab you and pull them into you, and they can eat you. You can shake yourself loose, obviously, by just pressing down or up to get out of their grasp, but sometimes it's just not enough, you know? It can be a little too close. So instead, no, we're done with them. I'm very happy about that, quite frankly, and then we're just gonna go ahead and put all these keys into their proper place. We gotta wait for those to turn into fire, and then he will accept the final offering. And now we're getting very, very... I'd say we're kind of like 3/4 of the way through the game right now. Like, the entirety of the trilogy, or was gonna say trilogy, it's Trinity. And then we just gotta partake of the dark. And that means getting our little lantern. The lantern mode is actually available for like chapters 1 and maybe 2. I haven't actually messed with 2 in a while, but it's definitely for chapter 1. Even as early as like the free edition, I think, maybe. I would actually have to go back on that. It's at least in the deluxe mode, which I still have on my PC, back when that was available. But it's essentially running through the entirety of the game with just a lantern. But we get the lantern here. We don't have to go through the entirety of the game with it, thankfully. Just, you know, a little chunk. We don't have to worry too much about it. And then, after that, like, adios to the lantern, just kind of get ready for, like, working with the, like, or amping up to the final boss, so to speak. You kind of time it here just for where you're walking, and then just, yep, there we go. We did okay. And then, like, wall boosting would just be, like, up against the wall and press up into the wall every now and then. If you're using window mode with the screen size set to 100%, again, you can do that in version 1.2 naturally. And there are kind of ways of doing it in 1.4, but I would actually have to see how to do that properly. Version 1.2 though, absolutely fair game. And you can do a patch your game as well then, so if you want to do that and get kind of into the runs, then hey, it's a new strat that has been discovered by fun. So there's a heck of a lot of birdies, but nevertheless, you know, Malphus was mentioned. He's kind of like, he takes form of a raven. But there's a lot of acolytes, as you can see. There's a lot of acolytes all of a sudden. And those are the guys that we gotta be kind of wary of in this screen and the next screen that we have to go by. There will be 3 little areas. You can go around this guy, but it's just easier to get rid of him, quite frankly. So, the roars here always remind me of the boiler room of Silent Hill 1. And I do like that, actually. But nevertheless, we have 3 little effigies to use our crooks on, so we're using crooks tech right now. That's one. We want to stay about the same kind of level and go the complete opposite direction, because we got a seal here too. Version 1, version 1 of this game actually had the ability to move during cutscenes, or at least during certain cutscenes, and this was one of them. So you could just time when you're going to move and then get that, you know, to get that time a little bit quicker. But if you kept hitting on the button, never like just not minding it, you would actually wind up out of bounds and would have to do the entire thing all over again. That was clutch. The entirety of the way around here, by the way, yeah, we are going to be followed by bird people. The acolytes, as mentioned, and they're not very nice. They do not want us here. So they come on screen after a certain period of time, so go about like halfway in the screen. And then the last guy that we gotta like exercise is like right up here. Hi, how you doing? Bye. I am out of here. Now we just gotta make our way back to the door. You don't want to get got here, because you gotta do it all over again, and it just kind of sucks, but nevertheless. It should be fine, because it's not fine. It's not fine. Never mind, it's fine. Okay, we're grand. I'm gonna go straight down here, and we're gonna go a little left then as well. Again, you just want to be really careful by the sides of these like rooms, because they can just jump out at you and stuff, and also don't set yourself on fire here by accident. I think that's been patched out since, but you used to be able to set yourself on fire there. That was definitely very funny. Except for when it wasn't. So we're kind of getting ready for one of the, like, one of 2 final showdowns. And this is one of them. Remember all that red text by some guy who was also very, very red and seemed very, very evil? This is Gary. And this is his group here, I suppose. And Gary loves you, you know? And then we just have to confront him. And he's going to be asking us a few questions, and there's a particular list to go through. Like, there's 3 questions, and you have 2 options each. The best way that we found to kind of like work through that is just the quickest is going in, like, option 1 is 2, option 2 is 1, and option 3 is also 1, so 2, 1, 1. And then you're good to go. So there's going to be a little bit of a cutscene here. Again, it's going to be working with flashbacks. And you kind of get illumination into what happened, sort of, I suppose. Like, it's, again, we have a very unreliable narrator here. And it's kind of like the last parts of what happened during that fateful day or night at Amy's house when we were trying to help exorcise her of demons. And it's just like, hey, the Holy Spirit comes down. Like, hey, John, what do you want? Do you want a hug?
This is too much for me.
And you know what he just says? It's fine. I want to go home. That's, you know what? What about Amy? That's a very important question.
I just want to go home.
He gave up. He gave up on Amy. And I guess it's kind of understandable. You have all these weird abominations coming at you. You have to do like all this ghost hunting, and then there's like 4 different images of Amy coming at you at once, and then
Away from here.
why not just leave? You could fight her, or you could just leave. He took option B, to say the least. Option B, just leave. Let somebody else do it. Except that, unfortunately, nobody came. The police and the ambulances being here, though, is quite curious because it's never really officially documented in the main notes that you find. But there are special notes that you can find, and that kind of divulge more on what may have happened. And again, we don't know the full story, but you can kind of piece together what happens as a result of all that. And hey, there's Gary. Not the name you'd expect of a cult leader. Gary Miller. This guy has a lot of bird hands. I don't know what's going on, but it's some extra bird hands. And he's got some really cool glasses. And there's only one other person in this game who had glasses. But they could be his, I'm not sure. Battery took a trophy from Amy's dad. So, tell me about yourself. That is the quickest option here that we're going to go. So 211 as mentioned, because it is, you know, so that's just the fastest way of doing things. He's just a normal human being. Everybody's been telling us this, but it's been echoed so many times I'm starting to doubt it. You will notice that little, like, parts of text will kind of flash here and there. With different words like the truth versus, well, it could be the truth versus what he's saying, or it might not be, because we don't know. It's just, again, we're just taking in this information as John. And the more and more we go through these text options, then it's also like, hey, he's kind of warping a bit. I don't think Gary's a normal human being just like you and me. I don't know, there's something about him. Also, I don't know why he's leaking over his glasses. And then Journey, yeah. Like, everything's just kind of glitching out a little bit. And then he's fine. Normal human being again. So, second last boss of the game. And there is one kind of... This game used to be so much more unforgiving, including this boss in particular, but the best way of kind of working with this is get downed. Like, let him hit you. And also stay in, like, certain quadrants like this, because you're... Well, never mind. But you're more likely to have the crooks kind of come to you, compared to older versions of the game. Oh, the older versions of the game are just spawning out. Don't send me to Australia now, please. The spiders, no, they all miss me. You think that was a good thing. And then you see like a whole bunch of other enemies that we had like way ages ago. Some of them we haven't seen because we just didn't do the extra content for other games, but thank you. If you kind of go through the boss fight, this mini boss fight, and you kind of just let him live a bunch of times and just kind of go with the flow, he will summon a clown. And you do not want the giant clown to just start spawning, because John's also afraid of clowns. Oh, we've been sent to Australia again. Alright, this one's like way easier. Can you please? Thank you. They were all starting to miss me. What happened? What's going on? Why is the game just this? Oh, hey! Clutch. Okay, that was actually very lucky. I thought we may have had to go through another round of that, but no. There's Father Garcia, and he came with a shotgun. Why didn't we think of that? And that's the weird part. Father Garcia is introducing himself for the first time, even though we've been under the illusion that we already knew him. Don't know what's happening there, but nevertheless, it could be like, oh, it's nice to finally meet you again, kind of way, but it's also just like, no, this is the first time that we're meeting. So that's kind of strange. Maybe what's happening with John is not what he's claiming it to be. And the Crucible is Amy's house. So out the back of Amy's house, there's someone very, very important that we need to meet and have a little chat with. Maybe get some answers from. That have not been explained yet. But it's kind of weird that it's just Amy's house here. I don't think it's actually real. But nevertheless, I'm gonna get my crooks like up and ready here. So, remember Miriam? Miriam's still here. I don't think the entirety of Amy's house was real. We just kind of imagined it. Perhaps, I'm not sure. Again, I'm just making little things, like theories, I guess. They may or may not be true, who knows? Doesn't matter. Really, at the end of the day, this is the final boss. And curious enough as well with the boss, the first time you approach him, obviously you're facing towards him, but if you die, you face away from them. I don't know why that happens, but nevertheless, it's absolutely fine. This guy has some gimmicks with him. He'll spawn like a bunch of seals around the arena and stuff. You don't want to get caught in them. It happens way more up by Miriam. More seals tend to spawn there. Aww. We're told that he doesn't actually love us. There is a little straw here called the Gary Shuffle. Again, found by like fun, and it's just kind of doing this sort of thing. It can get very risky though, so like that. He will launch himself at you, but there is a timer to that. Like if it's a short burst, yeah, you run away. But if it's a long burst, like a long kind of thing with that, he's gonna go like zigzag across the room, and you just want to, yeah, you really want to avoid those. But as said before, this boss used to be like, god dang, like 5 minutes long, and we didn't have to really worry about it. Yeah, okay, that's a long one. Thank you. And then he gets rid of some of the seals. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Really glad to have your company here. So this would be like Astaroth, or is Astaroth? Don't smell this. Like right now it's like Gary mixed with Astaroth for reasons, but we also think that this guy takes way more damage than normal, and then we're just gonna go up here behind Miriam and then keep pressing up so that we go in well behind the boss. And hey, we won. Oh, we haven't. So we're just gonna do this so that we don't actually get hit by any of the arrows, because it turns into a bullet hell. I don't know why, but I do love it. It's definitely nothing like Tohu, at least, but nevertheless, it's enough. Oop. Okay, you can avoid that. If you go down rather than up, than like what I did. And do not get hit by the fire. And we're just gonna do this, so we've like worked up a bit of a tally for damage, and we're gonna like kind of stay like fairly close to the wing. You can find a little spot, like a sweet spot where you don't get hit, and it's pretty goddamn nice when you find it. Yeah, there's another one, and this is a cool soundtrack as well actually, but yeah, we're getting there. And so, remember the fire? I remember when I said that you could get set on fire? Oh, I got stuck here the first time for like a while before realizing what we were meant to do. So, yeah, there's Miriam. The demons have fled. I love that I've just... Why am I not being set on fire right now? Really? Why was I not set on fire? Good night, sweet prince. What is happening with these glitches? I've never seen that happen before. Thankfully, this is why the boss also probably got nerfed, to be fair. Oh, now the game's being really, really mean. Can't believe you. I can't believe you do that. We had it in the bag. That was just bad luck, actually. I don't know why we didn't get set on fire, so I'm gonna have to look into that one actually after stream as well. So be nice. No. Yes. Yes. Okay, and you're gonna go over there. Alright, cool. That's fine, that's fine. Don't put too many seals on the ground, though. I'd like to make this a little bit quicker, please, and thank you. Yep, thanks. And now this one might be a little bit more difficult because, Gary, the demon, is way closer. But we are thinking that, our friend... Oh, this is bad. Our friend might actually be taking more damage here. The flying one compared to Gary. So that's what we think. And honestly, it definitely feels like, unless it's a really weird placebo. But nevertheless, back we go. Congratulations. Don't worry about it. Oh, I love that. So we're gonna do this one more time. And don't worry about it. Some divine intervention will happen at last. We kick ass for the Lord here. Don't worry about it. And we avoided it. Nice. Nice and sweet. And then you'll stay there for like 2 seconds, and then we're just gonna wait for that. No, I'm gonna chance this. I'm gonna chance it a little more to the right, actually, I think. You know what? Hey, this one's fine. This one's working. This one feels a little bit better. Until it didn't, but nevertheless. I'm also gonna get a little bit more in place here. Again, this guy has a thin sort of box, kind of like Tiffany. The wings don't really count. Now, I'm gonna hope that the... Yep, now I'm just waiting on the fire to actually work. Hey, we did it. So all we have to do is like 2 things left, and that is hit the button to cleanse Amy, and then another one to say, hey. You know, it's not a true run, at least, well, to be fair, it's not GCB at all anymore, but if in true GCB, we pick Garcia, because Garcia's our bro. Garcia's been the bro the whole time. But yeah, that is essentially almost GG. At least for the main meat of the game, yeah, GG. So, as said, one more little option, with Amy at least, because finally we have kind of gotten rid of the cult. Maybe not entirely, but for the majority. And Gary was created by Miriam, and the entity is just taken back. You know what? I'm not complaining whatsoever. And then there's Amy. The whole time we've been trying to help her. We couldn't save the boys, but we could at least help Amy. And they're all gone now. All the enemies are gone for now.
I'm so sorry. I couldn't save you.
It's a nice little touching moment, to be fair. But for now, you have to finish what you started. And then you can just immediately hit spacebar like a little bit into the cutscene, and he'll just automatically use crooks as soon as it's over. And then, yeah, Amy's been put to rest. She can finally sleep after all those tireless years? I don't know how many years, to be fair. And then, yeah, the cult and the police had a bit of a war there. Nobody really won. But at least Garcia showed up. And we just have one more decision to make, as I mentioned. It may not be GCB anymore, but we still got the good ending. Got the good ending.
Yes.
So, earlier on, naturally we did help Lisa. When you talk to Lisa, Lisa essentially just says, nah, she's fine, she doesn't need any help, you know, just, it's fine, cool, take care of the business that you need to take care of. But out of the absolute blue, she just, in the most suspicious of like actions, she just shows up out of the blue, and it's like, why? I don't know, but maybe she had a hunch as well, what happened, or just a memory awakened within, like, oh yeah, I know you. Something like that. And then you have, like, one of two options to make. And it's just like, you know what, let's go home together. So you can keep fighting demons, or you can pick a wife. I don't know why she comes out of the blue like this, because it's very abrupt. It's an abrupt change of pace. Do you want to settle down, or do you want to fight demons? The thing is, if we pick option 2 with Garcia, there is a potential that it's actually quicker than picking Lisa. So there's extra incentive to actually just, yeah, you know, go with the bro. And that is Faith, the Unholy Trinity, chapters 1 through 3 with the good ending in marathon mode. Some slight hiccups here and there, but nevertheless, we did get through it, and I hope that you enjoyed watching it, and may even consider picking it up if you're interested. We have a pretty good community. The server's been popping off as of late. We have also switched back to RTA as well, so yeah, just there's not really much setup in getting a run going. And if you need any help, the server's there. It's on speedrun.com when you search up for Faith. And we'd be more than willing to help you out. So thank you very much for watching. I genuinely do appreciate it. If you like what you saw in any capacity, I would say drop on by to twitch.tv/Fanata, where I do a lot more runs with like other stuff, Blood Rain, Primal, and a whole host of other kind of horror-related games or horror-adjacent sort of games. And with that being said, thank you also. Huge shoutouts to the Faith community and anybody who showed up to say hi as well. Thank you very much. And with that being said, I'm going to pass it back to Igdices. Thank you very much for having me again. And hopefully you all have a wonderful rest of the night. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you very much for that run of Faith, the Unholy Trinity. It is nice to see the journey of John Ward, and I do want to say thank you once again for doing the run. Well, I normally ask questions at this point of where can they find you and any shoutouts, but you had that perfectly covered, so thank you for that. Once again, if you have not checked out Fanata, feel free to do so if you enjoy any spooky stuff, a lot of fun runs, Faith, Blood Rain, many more, if you especially like the Faith run here. That being said, we do have more runs coming up for you. We'll get to that in a moment, but first I just want to mention really quick that if you do miss any of our shows, you can always find the VOD at youtube.com/gamesdonequick. As well, you can find more information at gamesdonequick.com/hotfix. Anyway, we have a couple more indie games for you, and we... Alright, everyone, welcome back from the break. Hopefully you're enjoying the show so far. It was fun being able to take a look at all three of the Faith games, Chapter 1, 2, and 3, The Unholy Trinity. Personally, it was one of my favorite indie horror games to come out in recent times. It was great being able to see the game get broken by Venata. Anyway, we do have a couple more games for you. These are a couple of games released in the last few years here. This next one definitely is I guess really a modern classic in a way among a lot of horror fans, and it's definitely garnered its reputation. We're going to be tackling one of the newer RE clones, and I guess the iconic SIGNALIS. We'll be doing the traditional memory any %, which is kind of the game's main category. We'll get more of an explanation from that in a moment here, but here is our runner, Ms. Scarlet Tanager. Take it away.
Hello, everyone. My name is Miss Scarlet Tanager, or otherwise known as the Bun Mom, and I'm joined by RJ. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm RJ Smangit. I run the game as well, but I'm also one of the mods for the community, and I'm here to help commentate.
All right, we're going to be doing memory any %, which is going to be a bit of a challenge for me because it's been a hot minute since I've done it, but I've been practicing. So we're going to get right into it, and time starts as soon as I get control of the character after the opening cutscene. In 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so we're playing as Elster. She is I guess you could describe her as a replicant, sort of, like, clone robot creature, is my understanding of it, at least. But we are in the spaceship, the Penrose. You're going to be seeing the Penrose a fair few times during this run. However, it's going to be in various states of decay. Right now, it looks okay. It's not going to look so okay later. All right, so we're just going to be sitting here waiting for this tub to drain. This very important tub that's going to be a bit of a focal point during the game. So, RJ, you want to explain a little bit about this game's story?
Yeah, so it's, as is most sci-fi things, there's a lot of ambiguity with the story and whatnot, but the general premise is that Elster wakes up alone in this ship, missing her partner, Ariane. So she's searching for her. She comes across a picture of a person who kind of looks like Ariane named Alina. So she turns her search right now to look for this Alina, and there's a lot of hunting through various locations. We start off on the Penrose, like Scarlett said. And
you know, to be honest, it's been so long since I've actually watched the cutscenes for this game, I completely forgot Alina was a character.
Yeah, you really don't. I don't think you really know about Ariane just yet, to be honest. I think it's all Alina, and then it starts to like bleed into Ariane. They look very similar. Ariane has white hair. Alina has brown hair.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, all of the robots are replicas, replica androids. They're like they have like some human characteristics, but mostly android.
Yeah, and they're based off of specific people, so it's not like they made the what's the actual term for them? It's not robot.
They're called replicas.
They are called replicas. Oh, it's replica with a K. That's what it was. Because I knew there was something weird about how they spelled it. So anybody who knows the Lovecraft mythos, or the Cthulhu mythos, should recognize this book. This is The King in Yellow. It's an extremely famous horror book from is it the late 1800s or was it 1900s that it came out? I can't remember which. But anyway, it was a big inspiration to H.P. Lovecraft and was used unofficially as sort of officially in his works. So that should sort of tip you off that we're going to be having some Cthulian shenanigans happening during this game. Some timey-wimey Cthulian shenanigans.
And one thing you might have noticed already is that there are a couple different languages. This game has like a trilingual kind of way about it. It has Chinese, German, and obviously English in it.
Yeah.
If you are a savvy German speaker, you'll start to realize that all of the replicas are named after birds in German.
Is that what it is?
It is. Elster is German for magpie. So, which when you start thinking about when you read about what their tasks are and what they do, their directives or whatever, then realize what their names are. It all kind of makes sense. So I'll try to bring up whenever we meet a new one, we'll talk about what bird it is.
Yeah, so that area I just went through is called Sierpinski. It's a colony, if I remember correctly. It's a mining colony that also has like classrooms and stuff on it.
Yes.
Yeah. We're going to be going through Sierpinski a fair couple times during the game. And just like, you know, the other areas, it's going to also be going through its own state of decay as we go. All right, so I just picked up a key there from the elevator, and we're going to be using that immediately up here at the puzzle that is just... I both love and hate this puzzle so much. Do you want to explain it, Archie, while I try and do it?
Yeah, well, it's kind of... you have to open up this board and put the pins in order for the key to actually press. So you can tell how many presses you need to do of each thing just off by one. By the starting positions, we have like a line we've had picture a line you draw, so you'll know how many presses. It's either 3 up or 3 down is the most it can be, or not at all. It just takes a little bit of visual practice to get used to, but Scarlett did a good job there. When
you get really, really good at this game, you're able to do it without checking, which is what I did that first time when I just caused it to try and open itself. But I am not good enough at the puzzle yet in order to do it without checking, because you can figure out what the code is just by looking. Okay. I'm going to try to do a glitch here. I'm going to try. If I don't get it the first try, we're going to do it the normal way. Okay. Nope. Okay. And, oh, darn it, I missed it. Okay, we're just gonna do it the normal way. So
it's a tough trick.
Yeah, that is called a door buffer. The most infamous glitch in this game is the item buffer or the door buffer. Essentially, any interactable object, be it an item or a door, you can buffer the input by going into either the map or the menu or the inventory menu. And then you exit the menu using escape specifically, I believe. And you interact with the item and immediately go back into the either the map or the inventory screen. It's very tight on it, the timing, but if you can do it too quickly. My problem with it is I tend to do it too quickly, which causes you to accidentally go into the menu too quickly before the interaction happens. So it's an extremely finicky glitch to get, and it's even triple finicky when you're trying to do it off of the doors, which is what I was trying to do there, which caused the game to go into a glitch state, which normally in that room would have let me go through that table and grab the key, which is faster if you do it the first couple tries. But as you can see, I didn't get it, which is a pretty common thing that happens with that bug. Oh.
Yeah, and one thing you'll notice, just a little bit of piece of tech, is every time Scarlett's going through a door that's locked, she'll turn around and wiggle a little bit.
Yeah.
That's because there's like a slight buffer in the door being able to be opened if you just stand there and click, but if you turn and spin around, it actually lets you go through a little faster.
Yeah, and that's specific to this version of the game. I'm playing on the 1.00 version of Signalis, which has some gremlins in it in terms of more glitches that you can do. And it is the version of the game that we play for any percent for the for a very specific glitch that happens later that got patched out almost immediately at the first update of the game. But if you play this game glitchless, you're going to be playing it on the most current patch of the game, which has less glitches, but you don't have to do a door wiggle whenever you open a door.
Yeah, the controls in general are a lot snappier on the later versions, and they also released an increased inventory option. So instead of having 6 spots, you can have 8, which is also very useful for its own reasons.
Yeah. Well, I did that.
So we were introduced to the radio right now.
Yes,
which will be a big part of the run.
The radio is extremely important. If you notice there, I was moving diagonally through the room. This game has the very common glitch-ish feature of, hold on. You explain it. I'm trying to look at the code here.
What were you talking? You were talking about the radio?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for the first instance here, obviously, if you turn it on, you can see it has signals.
Yeah.
Signals at certain instances will give us passwords. One thing, you can find out what signal to turn it to, but we found out that it kind of always falls within at least a certain range. The first code's always in like the 160 to 180 area. Could be a little give or take. I don't know the specifics, but so Scarlett will be just like adjusting her radio various times. Like she's already adjusting to the next code.
Yeah. Sadly, you can't really adjust it to the correct code when you're trying to figure out which of these semi-randomized codes it's supposed to be when there's an enemy in the room. Which is annoying, but because usually I'm able to have the correct code before I get to here.
Also, not only do they have signals, they also have SIGNALIS.
SIGNALIS is...
Okay, I think I found it.
Yeah, that looks right.
Yeah, that's correct. So I'm gonna wait until it goes down and boom. So I'm actually gonna write this down. 49854. 498. Oh crap. 854. There we go. I got the number. And yes, I do have it crossed out on a piece of paper that I keep next to me.
Yeah, so this code's a little different. Obviously, it works the same way where you're going to get a numbered signal, but the keypad we actually need to use it on is in letters, and they're jumbled instead.
Yeah.
So
if you could see my monitors, I actually have a cheat sheet on my right-hand monitor that has the this specific keypad that's being talked about, but it's been shifted back to numbers because it's not a regular jumbled numpad. So thankfully, we have methods to figure out the code easier without having to sit there and trying to figure out which letter's which. But you guys will see it in a bit. All right, so this is the water puzzle because every horror game has a water puzzle. There we go. Misclicked that. Thankfully, this is an incredibly forgiving water puzzle, and if you misclick, it just lets you have it anyway.
Yeah, that's the way the solution works. If you happen to click the wrong thing, you just click the right thing.
Yeah.
Fortunately.
All right, so we're not going to pick that key item down there up. So what we're doing here is we're trying to collect 5 keys, not 6. 6 is later. We're collecting 5 keys for a door in order to get to the next section, which is sort of a thing that the game repeats a fair few times. Each chapter of the game is go collect 4 or 5 or 6 things to progress. But I didn't pick it up there because it's actually optimal to pick it up later because we're going to have to come back down here. And especially because I'm playing this on the older patch and we don't have that inventory expansion option, we're a little bit tight on our routing for items. All right, so okay. So we're going to be doing something in a minute here called the VHS blind run. It's my favorite glitch in the game, but it is a pain.
Yeah, everything kind of stems from this ability to buffer interactable things into the menu, and this is no different.
Yeah, so will you explain it while I do it so I can focus?
Yeah, absolutely. So what Scarlett's going to do is technically she's going to do a buffer on this TV to use the VHS tape. And what that's going to allow her to do is actually right here, she's going to wait until she's on the door, click yes. So technically she is running in the hallway she was just in while this cutscene's going. Like you could see the door symbols popping up. And we'll know she got in there if she gets to the other door. Probably just a little shy.
I don't know if I got it. Yeah, I did. I don't think I got it. I think I'm like right in front of the door. But I'm on casual, so
there's some medical equipment right in front of the right door you're supposed to get into, and sometimes you'll bump into that or something and probably getting mauled by enemies, which is why she started to pick the key up and didn't, because if you're getting hit while you're trying to pick something up, it will stop it.
Yeah, okay, so the code that I got was 49854, which is 49854. I could have done that faster, but whatever. So that's actually the first time I've not managed to get to the door in like 30 attempts. Don't you love marathon luck? All right, so this is the hallway that I was running through before. Now, the way that glitch, do you want to explain like how we're able to control Elster during a cutscene like that with the glitch?
I don't know, other than like the buffer allowing you to basically overlap the two. So the way, I don't know if this is going to queue in the way you wanted it to, but the way the game works is those cutscenes where you're in the first person mode all happen, they're all overlapped like over the game. They happen at the same time. So basically what the buffer does is allow you to trick the game into letting you continue to play in the isometric view while the first person cutscene is going. But technically in all of first person cutscenes, you are still sitting where the game has you in this mode.
Yeah, the way I believe it works is when you're doing the item buffer, you're overlaying a interaction on top of it. Oh, no, I'll pick that up in a minute. I accidentally did that too early. You're doing an interaction on top of another interaction, which when you do the first interaction, the control is taken away from Elster. But since you have that second interaction on the screen, the game, instead of taking the ability to move away from you, it instead gives you the ability to move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got that
nice,
for
a little bit of tech there to pull the lever and then adjust the knobs.
Yeah, if you do it, if you pull the lever first and then adjust the knobs, it'll let you do it faster, but you have to be quick. Or
yeah, because if you don't get the first one right, it'll reset itself.
Yeah, which is why you heard me actually saying it out loud, because I wanted to make sure I hit the button the exact number of times in the exact direction that I needed to. But I was able to get it, yay! Now I'm actually gonna pick up the socket. I think it would have been fine if I picked it up earlier, but, you know, just in case, because the inventory routing is so tight.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, do not forget the wrench, Scarlet. The number of times I have lost a run to purely forgetting to go up here and to pick up this wrench.
Been there. Just, I understand.
I don't know why it's that. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. There we go. And now we're going to equip this. And you know how it says no use in the middle of the screen? That's just me testing to make sure I remembered to equip the item. Because we're going to need that for the most pain. It's just boss thing that's going to be coming up.
It's a pretty big reset point once you get up into the once you're getting like a really good time and trying to get a really good time going.
Once we get to the first boss, Mina, I'm going to need focus to make sure I do it, but
there'll be plenty of time to talk about it after it happens.
Yeah,
so.
Especially because I'm going to be doing the long kill.
Yeah, we'll just let it happen.
Ooh, I got that first try.
Nice. So it's easier to obviously see the buffering when she's either doing it on like an interactable item. But what it does is it allows her to have control as soon as she comes through the door, whereas usually when you go through a door, it'll push Elster into it a little bit like that before you start moving.
Yeah, and because
if you get stuck behind a door, it'll put you to the starting. Each room has a starting point designated for it.
Yeah, it's sort of like in Fallout, the center on cell. It's essentially the same concept. The game detects that you're out of bounds after a certain amount of time. It throws you inbounds at a certain specific spot. All right, now it's time for Mina. Everybody loves Mina. There's a reason why I have a save right here.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. She was nailing it in practice. I have faith.
Don't say that. Oh, why did you say
I did it. I jinxed her. Oh, no.
It's okay. There's a reason why I have a safety save right there. How dare you jinx me? That's the first time I've failed trying to get the long kill in a while. So I loaded a save right before there, and the reason why I'm leaving the room and re-entering it. This is also one of the reasons why my estimate is as high as it is. But the reason why I exited the room and re-entered is to reset the boss's position, because we need her to be in a very specific position for this. There we go. Oh,
there we go. And a quick kill. All right.
Okay, you want to explain it so I can bask in the glory of getting the quick kill when I was going for the long kill?
Yeah, so it's all like a timing thing. Basically, there are 3 ways this could work. We saw the first way where you just completely whiff, it happens. And then there is a quick kill, which we just saw, where as soon as you shove the flare in Mina's face, the fight's over. And then there's a longer kill where it does the same thing, but for some reason it takes a little longer for Mina to die.
Yeah.
About like 15-ish seconds. But the flare tech is pretty interesting. One of the bigger discoveries of the game. We used use a shotgun, but ended up only needing a couple of flares.
Yeah.
Flares are pretty powerful, we found out.
Yeah, I did. You did see me pick up the shotgun, and I picked it up specifically for safety for Mina in case I just kept messing up the flare, and for the final boss. All right, so we're gonna see another door glitch here because I'm gonna go for it, even though I hate these glitches so much.
You gotta go for it.
I might have gotten it. I'm doing this really safely. Okay, I got it.
There you go.
All right, you want to? We already explained that one, but no, that's another example of the. Essentially, it's a COC glitch, a center on cell glitch, but it's extremely useful in rooms like there, so it's worth it even if you take a while to actually get it. There's other parts of the game where if you don't get it the first try, it loses time. So those are like top level strats that I'm not going to be doing today because they're not necessarily marathon safe if you want to keep your estimate.
We get to see more of a common theme, Elster jumping down holes.
Yeah, it's very James
Elster
Sunderland.
sees a hole, she just jumps down it. No questions asked.
Very James Sunderland of her. Yeah. But no, that's going to happen a fair few times in this game. We have a big one later.
Yes.
But yeah, what we're doing right now is we're in, what's the name of this section? I just have it as I just have it as the like mine shaft lift on my splits.
Yeah, hold on. I could tell you what it is. I completely forget off the top of my head.
Yeah, I only ever remember Sierpinski and Rotfront. But this is sort of like Protectors, that's what it's called. It's like the police / military area.
Yeah, this place is the Sierpinski.
It's all Sierpinski.
Yeah. And this is like the we're trying to get down to the mining level because there's a bunch of notes that Elster finds saying that Alina or Ariane, they're down in the mines.
Yeah. Okay.
Or like basically everybody who was on the ship was put down in the mines eventually.
Might not have gotten it. Oh no, I did get it. Awesome.
Nice.
So that's the flareless version of that. You can get through there with a flare by shoving a flare into an enemy.
Hey, you got this glitch.
Where she gets in there?
Comes in from the hallway.
Like, wait a minute, you're not supposed to be in there. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay. So you're gonna see that specific version of the glitch one more time. Another way that you can get through there is by using flares. By shoving a flare into an enemy while next to the door gives just enough light to get through the doorway, because you're not able to get through those doorways without light, which is an item that we would have to go out of our way to get. We will be getting it later because I'm going to be doing the safer strat that involves getting it. If you ever watch the world record, they do it completely without the flashlight, and it's amazing. I lost control of my cursor. Where is it?
Here's a little painful eye moment. So sorry to anybody when you come in with the. Are these the Calibris? What are these?
These are the Calibris.
Yeah, these are the Calibris. They have this like effect on Elster where it has a lot of screen clutter.
I took a lot of damage in there. I might have to take some safety heals.
Yeah, that was. Sometimes you just, it's hard to see because she needs to click on a painting in there. It's hard to tell because we're just running through the Calibri. What you're supposed to do is adjust your radio until the clutter dissipates a little bit, and then it'll show you which Calibri is the correct one to shoot.
Yes. That's, what happens if you want to go slow. I just go in and grab it.
No, everybody, that's the strat, is to just run in and grab it.
Yeah.
There'll be a couple more instances of that as well with the Calibris, which is German for hummingbird.
For safety, I grabbed that medicine patch there. Okay, so we're gonna do a door glitch again. Got it. Excellent.
Nice.
So you see, it brings up that room for a half second, but because I hit the other door, I'm gonna do it again. Got it.
Yeah. The door ones are a lot more finicky, but look at that. Teleports right to the beginning of the room.
Yeah, I found that it's much easier to get the door glitches to work when you're coming at the room from either above or the side. When you're coming at it from the bottom, it's so much harder. I have such a hard time with them for some reason. All right. So I picked up a broken cassette and some tape, and we're going to use that to make some lovely, lovely music instead of static.
Yeah, and Scarlett already had her radio adjusted to the right frequency to be playing this song.
Yep. This is a specific classical song, and I can never remember the name of it.
Yeah, don't ask me.
But it's just bask in the lovely classical music while we come up to this comatose woman and steal her key. Don't worry about it. She's actually the final boss, so she kind of deserves getting her stuff stolen.
Spoilers.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. All right, now that we have the owl key, let the music play out for a little bit longer so y'all can enjoy it, because we do have to adjust the radio back down. But everybody loves classical music, right?
Yeah, especially all the enemies.
Yeah, if you have the radio on, it's increases the radius with which enemies get alerted to you.
But that's okay. They deserve some music too.
Yeah. So you guys are going to be seeing in a moment here the reason why we give up all of the good stuff about the current patch and play any percent on this patch.
It's a very technical glitch.
Yeah.
Oh, she just took the key from the safe without opening it.
There is
by clicking on the side of it.
Yeah, there's a very small part right there that for some reason, okay, no more music. The hitboxes overlap just slightly.
Yeah, and that is it feels so insignificant for how easy it is, but that is an absolute massive skip for the run in general. I think it's like a minute and 40 seconds.
Oh, it's more than that. It's over 2 minutes, I'm pretty sure.
It's huge. It skips so much backtracking and so many other things. Like we didn't have to go.
You don't have to go into the library.
Puzzles.
Yeah, you don't have to do the library puzzle. You don't have to do the actual turnkey puzzle to get into the safe. Everything. But that saves so much time that it's worth it to deal with the slightly sluggier controls and the slightly buggier nature of the initial patch.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now we're in the mines, and we're just going to be going all the way down because, we're all children here and we yearn for the mines. So there are some really cool glitches here that were discovered relatively recently that I'm not going to be doing because they are really, really hard to pull off, and I haven't had enough time to practice them. But you can use the buffer glitch on pretty much any doorway in order to break Elster out of bounds. And as long as you keep going into the menu like that, you can keep Elster out of bounds. It'll stop the game from putting her into that center on cell point, which in this area in particular can let you skip this elevator ride. Now, it only saves overall about 7 seconds because Elster gets some of her stamina back by just sitting there, which is helpful for the rest of the mine run. If we didn't include the stamina loss from not being able to just sit on the elevator, it would be about 10 seconds time save, I think is what we found out. All right, please don't hit me. Thank you.
All right.
All right, now we're going to be getting to one of the best parts in the game. But
more holes.
More holes.
We're going to go down this hole, and then we're going down another hole.
But
there's holes
we're going to park in this corner until they're about to hit me, just to time it. They're being slow. We're going to go up here. So because we have to wait for this to open, this gives us an opportunity to actually go and get healing for once. Now, I'm going to use it here. Oh, it actually wouldn't let me use it. I'm not usually this helped up. Okay, so we're going to keep that other one for when we get hit later.
You're not getting hit. What are you talking about?
I'm going to get hit later. All right, time to go into another hole.
Here's another hole.
All right, now we're ready for the best part of the game, which is sitting for 1.5 minutes.
Yep.
You want to explain the beach while I start glitching the game?
I don't honestly really know what's going on here, to be honest with myself, but we're gonna get to see Scarlet do a fun glitch here. For some reason, if you angle yourself just right at this wall, you'll just start to go up it. So we'll see if Scarlet can make her way all the way up to the top.
Yeah, you have about 1.5 minutes, I think, before the game puts you into the next chapter. And there is nothing you can do. There is no way to skip it. There is no way to make it go faster. You just get to chill on this beach. You can go find some cool rocks. There's a couple skulls on the beach. There's a copy of the King in Yellow. Or you can do what I'm doing here and vertically scale up this wall because they didn't put an invisible wall on this specific part of the terrain. This is the only version of the game that you can do this on because I believe they patched it out with the first patch. But let's see if I can slip over to the side there. Yeah, we're just mountain goats right now. We're just vertically scaling up this wall because there's nothing else you can do right now. But if I can make it, we might be able to see Elster fall off the world. If I can get to there. Okay, so we're about at the top. Okay, come on. All right. So if I can get to that corner over there, we can fall off the world. I just have to do it before the timer goes out.
It's gonna be close.
It's always close.
Yeah, I guess basically how I understand.
Whee!
Yay!
Oh, wait. Oh. What?
Oh.
Oh, there we go. I was like, wait, I didn't actually fall into the abyss. Close enough. Okay. So that's the beach. Now we're in a place, we're in nowhere. Just nowhere. Just nowhere things.
And this place is very disorienting.
Don't get
There's
stuck.
no map.
Yeah, there's no map in nowhere because you're not allowed to know where you're going in nowhere. There we go.
Yeah. And there's some there's cages in front of some of these doors, and as you see, Scarlet just went right through one of them in the first patch, or in the first version of the game. If you angle yourself just right, you can actually just get the door trigger through
All
the
right,
cage.
you guys might want to look away because we're going to get wibble wobble vision again. I forgot to warn the first time. Thanks for warning for me.
Yeah, I always kind of forget about it because I'm just used to staring at it.
So am I.
It's become my entire personality at this point.
Your entire personality is Calibri visual vomit.
Sturb.
Okay.
Calibri screen vomit, exactly.
Yeah. All right, so just like before when we were collecting keys, that door up there is roughly the same sort of room as the first door because this game loves repeating itself. So it's same thing. We're getting a bunch of keys.
Yeah, a big theme of this game is looping and repeating things in general.
Yeah.
Implanted memory, repeating, seeing things that you're not
All
seeing.
right, time for the second boss. Blink and you'll miss it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Boop. Shove a flare. And dead. So, this is Issa. If we'd actually been playing the game like a normal person, we would have met Issa already. Issa is probably my favorite character and also has an absolute tragic story. But we're not going to be exploring that tragic story because she's just going to be in a coma for the rest of the game until unfortunate things happen. All right, time for the second biggest time save in this game.
Yeah, and this was actually the first place where we really figured out how to use this item buffering, how to make it consistent and make it work for us, because grabbing this plate early allows us to kind of do this whole section out of sequence. And
there we go. Oh, no space.
Oh yeah, because you have your health still.
There we go. I was like, wait a minute. What do you mean I don't have space? Because I usually don't have a health item. There we go. Okay, so now we have the plate of balance. No. There we go. I know what I'm doing. I swear. There we go. So the reason why we picked it up that way is if I was to pick it up normally, those little pincer things would close shut behind you and you'd have to put it back.
Yeah, so we could grab it early. You'd have to get like a Matryoshka doll, I believe they're called, and
it's a Matryoshka doll.
The nesting dolls. And you have to get 3 of them, put them together, and then put them on the base. Yeah. We don't have time for any of that, so we're just gonna not do that.
Because it's slow and we don't like slow things. All right, I'm gonna take a whole bunch of intentional damage here, which is the reason why I picked up that safety heal. So you want to explain why I'm taking all of this intentional damage?
Yeah, so if you can't really see it, it's a little hard to see. You can see it a tiny bit. There is actually like barbed wire in this entire room. It's like a maze of barbed wire. In the fastest way, there's a way to run around this entire place without actually touching any of it. And if you had the flashlight equipped and you turn it on, you could see it and whatnot. But the fastest way to do it is to just run through some of them and take some intentional damage just to make the rooms a little bit quicker.
Yeah. But you saw me pick up some more, health there because we're going to be doing that again in a little bit here. And it's so much less safe the second time. I can't count how many runs that I've lost to the second barbed wire room because that barbed wire room has actual invisible barbed wire.
Yeah.
All right, so I picked up incense a little bit ago, and we're going to use it here in order to get our second key. Now, if you recognize these back when I got the radio the very first time, that's when we actually got the first one, so it overlaps a little bit with the previous chapter. Alrighty. Now, please don't be in the center. Please don't be in the center. Of course you're in the center.
Yeah, push him out of the way. Get out of the way.
Get out of the way.
We have a hole to jump down.
Usually if I go up a little bit, that she's not in the center, but she just doesn't like me. So do you want to explain what the enemies are?
The enemies are like kind of messed up versions of the replicas that exist in the world. The reason they're like that is pretty complicated and go into the notes, but there's this whole thing of the game called bioresonance and stuff like that starts to affect all of the replica units in weird ways, turns them into basically monsters. So everything you see are versions of these replicas that existed in the world, just in their kind of decompositioned forms.
Yeah, and it's a plot point that if the weird bioresonance infection happens to a human, that instead of them turning into monsters like those two right there, they just melt. They just turn into chocolate pudding on the ground.
Yeah. Chocolate pudding.
Yeah, it's just chocolate pudding. You know, I'm gonna be extra safe because I'm paranoid.
I don't blame you.
Okay.
Sometimes this room could go awry too.
Yeah, I can't count the number of times that I've lost a run to this room. Okay. There we go. We're all good. We are at full health. I'm normally at like half health here.
Yeah, that's a good point somebody made in chat about all of the puzzles we're skipping for the doors.
Yes.
By just going through the cages or just knowing the puzzles ahead of time.
Yeah.
Normally what you would have to do is go to the radio. There's a room to the right of where we jump down to fight the second boss that has like a little radio or like a receiver in it. And you tune the radio to certain signals. It'll play the shape on the screen and give you the patterns you need.
I got the glitch where I didn't get that last hit on the barbed wire.
Yeah, if you take the right kind of line, sometimes you'll actually skip that last hit. Yeah. Which is nice.
All right, so we should have all 6 of the keys to get out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
All right.
Now it's time for the game to end. Yeah, I hope you guys like Signalis.
GG.
GG. It's not actually GG.
Totally
don't end the timer. It's not actual GG. But yeah, GG. So my name is Miss Scarlet Tanager, and you know this is Signalis. You know, a game by Rose Engine. You know, good people. Just give them a round of applause. Signalis President. This is the main menu. There's nothing wrong with the main menu. You know, totally normal eyeball. Oh wait, yeah, game's not over yet.
So here we are kind of in we're back on the Penrose.
Back on the Penrose. Cannot escape this ship.
Things look a little different this time.
Yeah, we have a cool looking hat.
A little brighter too.
Yeah, a little less decrepit looking. All right, so this is a, essentially, was it Earth who sent out all the ships? In the story?
I think so.
Yeah. So they sent out a whole bunch of spaceships in order to sort of find habitable worlds to colonize. But a whole bunch of those ships were never going to end up actually finding habitable planets. And guess which ship didn't find a habitable planet? Ish. Wait, which one did I forget? Oh, okay. I remember. I know which one I forgot. This one.
It's all right. You already thought you did this one because you did it in the beginning.
Yeah. When you're trying to explain the game, sometimes you forget things. So yeah, we're just doing all of the checking, you know, checking to make sure the ship's okay while we go see our girlfriend. Hi, girlfriend. Nothing bad's gonna happen to you. Oh, hey, look, there's a severed arm. I'm sure Elster's fine.
Just kidding. We're back here now.
We're back on the Penrose.
Yeah, we're back. We left the Penrose and we're back on the Penrose.
And now it's time to compartmentalize some trauma. That is my favorite pop-up in the game. I don't know why.
Yeah. It's just really aggressive.
Yeah, it's extremely aggressive.
Maybe hits close to home.
Yeah, and it's right after Elster.
Look, a hole.
Yeah, another hole to jump down. And it's right after Elster tearing the chest off of another Elster to put onto her chest. There's more than one Elster, by the way. This game's complicated. Many, many, many clones.
And now we're back on the beach.
Yes.
Except this time there's a boat.
Yes. This time we can actually get off the beach without having to wait, thankfully. But part of the story is, so each line of replica has a human that they were based on. And for some, quote unquote, some reason, the replicas of those specific people can sort of uncover the memories of that human and of previous versions of themselves as replicas, which is supposed to be part of the explanation for why you keep finding bodies around the game that look suspiciously like Elster. They are previous versions of Elster who are all trying to find Ariane, the short white-haired lady, who is her lovely, lovely girlfriend. And they failed. So every version of Elster that's failed. All right, so we're back in Sierpinski because this game repeats itself. And thankfully, because the game repeats itself, it uses the same code on this save. For the exact same key.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll notice that Sierpinski is a little fleshy now. This is the, what did they call it? It's like the bioorganic growth that causes the infection. Sort of, kind of.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of meat. Just a bunch of meat. Now we're gonna go run right into this person because it's the easiest way to get through the room. And hey, look, another hole.
Hey, look, it's a hole. We should jump down it.
So many holes to jump down. Do. Hi, Adler.
Here's
you are my
Adler.
least favorite character. I do not like him.
We don't see Adler basically at all because he only really exists in the cutscenes.
Yeah.
And he looks a little goofy there, so you don't even know what he originally looks like because we skipped that. But
Yeah. But if I remember correctly, he's actually the one who tore Elster's arm off during that fake out game over.
yeah, he's actually a really important character to the story because he's one of the first replica units that starts to realize he's remembering and living dreams and stuff that never actually happened.
And also the only
him.
male character in the game.
Yeah. And Adler is German for eagle.
Yes.
So the one who notices something is the eagle.
Yes. Oh, and I saw it in the chat. This area is called Rotfront.
Yes, this is Rotfront.
This is Rotfront. It's the bottom layer of a colony, if I remember correctly. So it's not actually Sierpinski. This game's weird with its timey-wiminess. All right. So I just picked up a developer. We're going to be using that in a hot minute, but hopefully I don't get, burst into flames right here. Let's see if nope, I got hit with flames. Okay. For some reason, the hitbox for those flames hangs around for way too long. All right.
And they got a little bit of a linger that's not actually visible.
RJ, you have a very important job.
Oh.
Remind me to use the acetone after I interact with the computer.
Okay.
Because I forget all the time to go use the acetone.
All right. Well, now if I forget, it's Ecdysis' fault.
Yes.
All right. Good. Glad we're on the same page.
Okay, so we're going to actually pick up weapons here because we're going to need them for the final boss.
Yeah, and if you weren't doing the save strat, that would actually be the first time we pick up a gun in the entire run.
Yeah.
But we want to be a little safe here. And you'll notice we switch a station to the Magpie station.
Let's hope that I get the actual good song. Yes. Okay, good. Phew. There's 2 songs you can get there. One of them is really annoying. Have you ever gotten the really loud, tinny sound? Yeah, I don't know why there's 2 different sounds you can get there, but I remembered the acetone for once. Yay!
I didn't even have to say anything. I was about to forget.
Well, good. We didn't have to blame it on Ecdysis.
Yeah, there you go. He gets to keep his show.
Wait, what?
Yeah, no, we won't talk about that.
Okay. So, I'm paranoid. Okay, it is. I'm always paranoid that the code actually went through, so I like to check. All right, so y'all ready for some more hole action?
Yeah, there's another hole that needs jumping down.
Time for some more holes. And this one's a beat grinder. I'm sure Elster will be fine.
Yeah, it's not functioning.
Yeah. And here's Ariane. She's fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah, nothing morally repugnant happened to any of the characters. So
Yeah, it's
just
not her
like
fault at all.
the previous chapters, we're just collecting 6 things to open a thing. This time, though, it's a bunch of tarot cards. Now, interestingly enough, we're not actually going to do the puzzle that's associated with them.
Because thankfully, we just have to pick them up. We don't
Yes.
actually have to go do it.
Yeah.
Because that would be a whole other pain in the butt.
I put away the tank, which was the one thing I wanted to keep. Okay. Yeah, for some reason, triggering the appearance of a specific key item is tied to picking up the 6 tarot cards and not actually completing the puzzle associated with the tarot cards. So if there was some way we could figure out how to trigger that early, we'd be able to skip most of Rotfront. But
And trust me, I tried. Because somebody had mentioned that they had done it without picking all of them up, and I tried
seems fake.
everything.
Seems fake.
I picked up one card. I've picked up like a very combination of only one of all the cards. I tried. I think if you could do it and come find me. I spent hours
I'm calling
picking up
shenanigans.
random cards. Yeah, I'm calling shenanigans as of now.
All right, so this is the reason why we needed this code to this frequency, is to open this specific box to get another key and another tarot card. Now, that'll be the last time we need to use the radio for the rest of the game, but it is going to pop up a little bit because every single time you go into a room with a Calibri enemy, it causes the radio to automatically pop up. Hello, Calibris. How are you? You are the most annoying monsters in this game. All right. And time
are
for more
pretty
Calibris,
obnoxious.
so, look away. An extended Calibri run.
Yeah, so if you really wanted to, you don't even have to kill him too. You could just mess with the radio a little bit just to ease the eye strain.
Yeah.
Some people like to do that in the runs they do.
Yeah, but that's...
It's not necessary.
That's not necessary, and I'm lazy.
Yeah.
Also, I have small hands, and it can be a pain on the keyboard to deal with the frequencies sometimes. So the least I have to do it, the better for me. All right, so we're going to finally use this developer. And for some reason, you can't use the photograph from the inventory. So you have to use it outside of it. But that is the second to last. So we have one more tarot card to get before we go to the end game. Now, if y'all watched me play this game before on a marathon event, I did Artifact Ending, which skips the final boss. But we're not going to be skipping the final boss this time. We're going to be beating the final boss. All right, so 5, 6, 0, 5, 2, 4. There we go. All right, so we are on the Ito residence. Remember Issa, who I said was my favorite character, and remember how I said humans turn into chocolate pudding when they get infected? Yeah, Issa's chocolate pudding now.
Yeah.
We love Issa, but Issa's chocolate pudding. All right, so that's the last key we needed, which was, fittingly enough, the death key, or the death card. So the moment we go into the main area of Rotfront, it's gonna look a little different. Yeah. All right, so this is the key item we needed. So this entire thing was just to pick up this dial ring. All right, let's see if I can do this in one try. 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, I didn't screw it up. Excellent.
All right.
All right, so this is the point of no return. As soon as I finished that puzzle, it's the point of no return. So hey, look, it's the king in yellow again. Oh my god. We're gonna go through this door. And we're in a random room. Thankfully, this is where I have another safety save. But all right, I'm gonna try to do the door glitch, not glore glitch, a couple times here. But if
The
I don't,
glore ditch.
yes, yes. If I don't get it, I don't get it. Okay. Hold on to your butts. Oh, I did it too quickly. I did the second part too quickly. So
okay.
you can skip this run through the room if you have that set of pistol ammo on the screen when the room loads, and then you get rid of the text box. But I got a little trigger happy there and accidentally picked up it anyway. So this is Falk. Falk is sort of like the commander of the whole area, and now they're infected. And they're throwing spears at us because they're rather rude. So we're gonna throw spears at them. And by throw spears, I mean we're gonna put them through her head. Now there are 6 of them you have to do, while also getting attacked constantly, which is great.
Yeah, and what Falk reveals to you when she gets up is that she knows that the memories she's having are actually Elster's memories.
Yes. All right. Come on, don't pick up the spear. Oh, she picked up the spear.
She does.
All right, you want to explain the fight a little bit? Will I do it?
Before, I'm going to hit us with another little fun fact. Falk is German for falcon. So there you go, more birds. But the way this fight works is she kind of floats around the room nonchalantly with her big metal shields. And after you shoot her a bit the first time, she will throw her spears at you. If you kind of stand near her, you can kind of manipulate where she throws them a little bit by getting near her.
And if you get really lucky, you can get 2 spears in her at once. But you can only pick up one at a time, so it's only... don't get hit there. There we go.
Yeah, which is why it's a little important if you're going for it to try and stand near her when she's throwing her spears initially.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you have 2 spears pretty close to her, you could pick up a second one after hitting her and stab her right again and go into... skip a phase altogether, essentially.
Yeah. Excuse you. Game. What? Oh, I had too many health items. It wouldn't let me pick up a spear. You pick up the spear. Thank you.
And she's doing you a solid and killing all the stuff, so it's cool.
She won't be doing me a solid if she picks up the spear before I can get it. There we go. I got the last one. But she's off in the side here, being very rude. Oh, there we go. Now she's not being rude.
Yeah, there we go. That's good. It is possible for her to just kind of float off screen where you can't get to her.
At least not easily.
So, luckily that didn't happen. But yeah, so you shoot her, she throws her spears. You shoot her, she goes down. You stab her with a spear.
Goodbye, Falk. So time is going to be when I get to the last room of the game and do the last input to go through it. So this is just run to the end. And something that I found out right before I started this run while I was practicing Falk is that the game hard crashes if you try to exit to menu in the first couple rooms of this part of the Penrose, which by the way, we're back on the Penrose.
Yeah, it's the Penrose again.
Time is going to be right now.
All right.
Yay! Good job. And I skipped the last cutscene, but we got the memory ending, as you can see there. And the playtime is the time not including cutscenes and stuff. Thankfully, it's a very accurate timer. That's what we usually use. But I'm underestimate, and that's the reason why I had such a big one. But I hope you guys enjoyed SIGNALIS. My name is Miss Scarlet Tanager, and you guys can find me over at twitch.com/Miss Scarlet Tanager. If you guys like bunnies, I'm kind of known for having an active rabbit cam whenever I stream. I stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays whenever I'm not having a heavy workload at work. But why don't you tell us where we can find you, RJ?
Yeah, you can find me at twitch.tv/RJSmangit.
Yep.
I don't have a bunny camera, though, so I don't know. Choose wisely when you're picking.
My bunnies are rather cute. They're all nerdy. The names are Garrus and Tally, and everyone loves them. But
I guess we could do a quick Discord shout out, too. Like, if you were interested in running the game,
yes.
We do have a Discord channel for the game. We're not super active all the time, but if you have questions and want to learn the run, there are plenty of willing people to answer questions.
Yeah, and since the game can be a bit of a pain to down patch, you can just do the glitchless category, which is done on the current patch. It's much more beginner friendly, so it's definitely a great place to start because a lot of the glitches in this game are really difficult to pull off, and sometimes hardware dependent. But yeah, that's it.
Sorry, my mic was muted there. Thank you both for doing the run. It was fun run of SIGNALIS. Normally I would ask where can I find you, but you both have that covered, so thank you for that.
Yep.
Anyway, really quick, we do have one more game for you all tonight. Before we do go to that, I do just want to say that we do have the official GDQ Discord with a Hotfix role where you can find more information on general Hotfix shows. You can use !Discord and Twitch chat for more information on that. Anyway, we have one more game. Alright everyone, we are back from the break. Hopefully you enjoyed that run of SIGNALIS. We do have one more game for you tonight, and this game is kind of unique in a way, and I think this is really the first time I can say this about any game. This game is technically not out yet. So it was out at one point, however, I guess they got picked up by Blumhouse Games, with the new horror division, and it's going to be re-released through them. However, if you bought the game in the small window of time it was originally out, that game still existed, meaning there are a few people out there who own this game and speedrun this game. That being said, it's a long way of saying this game is weirdly rare in the modern age until it officially comes out. That being said, we're going to be having it, and you will be able to see it. It's pretty cool, and honestly, it should be cool to see what changes come up later on, especially if the speedrun might change. It'll be a fun little look back into the future if you watch back this VOD or something, and who knows, maybe the game's on in the future. Anyway, this is going to be Fear the Spotlight Any% featuring Juhorse. Take it away.
Hi, my name is Juhorse. Welcome to Fear the Spotlight. Yes, what Ed said, like, this game was released back in October of last year, and then they got pulled out because they said they wanted to make a few changes or like more improvements into the game. They're gonna get a not just a PC port but also a console port of this game as well. So I want to say like a few thanks to like the devs as well. Like shout outs to Cozy Game Pals, which is I think Brian and Krista. So they're pretty cool people. They're not here right now, but yeah, I'm just gonna say thanks right away. But we're gonna start off with the game immediately. Basically, the game is just like a high school love story, I would say, about two girls, which is Vivian and Amy. We're gonna start off with first movement, so time starts in 3, 2, 1, move! Alright, let's go. So, we're gonna go to the library and do some stuff, but basically what the story is that you are playing as Vivian, and then you go into high school, you meet up with Amy. Yeah, Amy's like the goth girl, and they're just here to try to conjure stuff, and then bad stuff happens, and we get zoomed into another world later on. This is like, if you ever know about like Goosebumps or Are You Afraid of the Dark? Is it that show? Yeah, Are You Afraid of the Dark? This is like that kind of stuff. It's a very short kind of indie horror game, and I really love this game a lot. I would say later on in the game there's gonna be like some kind of like love connection to in between them, but it comes out like at the end of the game as well. Upcoming is like one of those like foreshadowing kind of enemies later on in the game. There is a security camera that will shine like a bright light right here, and then I'm just gonna be walking towards it for a bit and then taking damage. Just gonna combust ourselves on fire. And we're just gonna run towards the door. Yeah, it's like foreshadowing towards the main antagonist of the game, or like the main enemy of the game, which is Spotlight.
Can you take it out?
All right, we're in the library at the moment. We are gonna be taking the Ouija board, but before that, we actually have to unlock the display case by just grabbing a key in the office room, which is coming up like right around here as well. Alright, gonna take our library keycard. So basically, like, Vivian, I think, if I'm not mistaken, she volunteers at the library, and then, you know, she has like a keycard and stuff. Alright, we're gonna be using this. Menuing is kind of weird for this game. Basically, I had to like mash enter like plenty amount of times, and then move with the left or right arrow keys for myself. It's kind of a bit finicky, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna do this again, like that. Unlocking the display case, and then we're gonna play with the Ouija board. Don't play with Ouija boards. I'm gonna say this right now. I don't even want to trust myself with an Ouija board. Have you ever thought about playing with an Ouija board?
I don't invite it, man. Like, you know what the easiest way to avoid getting your house haunted is? Don't.
That's true.
I mean, welcome, Vivian. Please take your seat, and we can begin.
But yeah, basically,
Tonight,
I'm just gonna. Why am I always looking at chat and saying like, looking at them saying that I'm lagging like all the time?
I think so. Just nothing too creepy.
Okay.
Don't worry. I've got everything under control.
There you go.
Just do whatever I say.
Okay.
Okay.
Always the god mind just telling me to do stuff. But also at the same time, let's do this real quick. Gonna put the Ouija board at the moment.
Wow. This thing looks even cooler up close.
We're gonna play the Ouija board for a bit.
Okay, next, we have to set the right ambience. I'll light these first 2 candles.
I'm guessing I'm also alright with all the internet stuff, but I do not know as well. Right now we're gonna light some candles, which I'm gonna be mashing my enter button like plenty amount of times, so I could actually light the candles up.
Actually done this before?
So now I'm actually gonna hold on to the planchette for like 3 to 4 minutes. While we're on to that,
No books. Just trusty.
I guess we'll talk about a little bit about this game. This game is actually really cool. I want to mention this right now. I just read like an article like a few before the run, like just before the run. I didn't realize that the devs were actually part of not only Naughty Dog games but also Nickelodeon as well. So I was like, holy crap, these guys are really big. Yeah, so Brian worked with Naughty Dogs, and then Krista worked with Nickelodeon at the time, and then they left their jobs just to make cozy game pals. So Brian does all the coding and all the game stuff, and then Krista does all the art stuff, which is really cool.
Now repeat after me.
Other than that, we're gonna be conjuring like stuff. Basically, the rose that we have right now that is on the side of it, it's like a burnt rose that was oh god, what is the story again? Amy got this rose from somewhere and then thought that, hey, why not is a good kind of conduit to use it for the Ouija board to just
we invite you to talk to
get spirits and stuff. Because I'm guessing in the game, I have not read about the lore in a long time, but basically, like, the lore of this game is that the school burned down back in 1990 something, and then years later they want to try to conjure like ghosts just to know why the school burned down in the first place. So there's that. What do you like about this game, by the way?
I don't think this is
I like that the main character looks like the nerd emoji.
What was that? Spirit, are you here with us?
My God.
She does I mean, you have a moment. Look, she has like the really like the stereotypical nerdy glasses, and like she literally looks like the nerdy emoji.
She does. But yeah, I would say right now it's kind of like a love story trope of nerd girl. Actually, no, it's the opposite. So like goth girl actually wants to try to get into nerd girl's heart, and then nerd girl follows goth girl because why not? But yeah, she actually looks like the nerd emoji. All right, there we go. Now we actually conjure some spirit, and now we are gonna be into another different world. Oh no, ghosts!
Amy, I want to stop.
So now Amy is actually gone, and we have to go and find Amy in this whole entire game. Spooky. All right, we're gonna be lighting the candles up right now, all of them. And then last one. And then she finds out like, oh no, Amy's gone! What happened? So Vivian now has to traverse around the dark areas of her school. And right off at the back, we're gonna be doing like an out of bounds trick. I don't know how this was found, but it was like, hey, you know there's an out of bounds, right? I'm like, no. How do you make a game that has out of bounds all of a sudden? But yeah, in the beginning of the game, there is an out of bounds. So, we're just gonna be walking towards this like thing right here, and then out of bounds. That's it. There we go. So I'm just gonna be walking straight. Luckily, there's no like kind of twists and turns. We just like walk straight into the darkness, and then we get into like a cutscene right here where Amy's just looking at the door. Sorry, not Amy. Vivian's looking at the door. At this part, Amy was supposed to be dragged into the door, but because we did the out of bounds, Amy's not there. Amy's just like empty. But yeah, Amy's supposed to be here. She gets dragged into the door, and then we had to run away. But because of the out of bounds, you get to see this. Basically just nothing. But also, like I said, or like X said, this game is not on Steam, so you can't really buy the game, and there's like no updates prior to this. So yeah, so the out of bounds is still there about like 10 months later into the game. Also, she runs weirdly. I don't know why. She looks like she's twerking while running. It's pretty cool. The library is it's in fires. It's in shambles right now, but we're gonna be escaping right now. So there's a crack at the wall. We're just gonna run in. Now the actual game begins, and basically this game is like just an A to B kind of game where you just pick up items, you do stuff, you do objectives and whatnot. That was the only out of bounds in the game. That was the only sad thing as well. That was the only out of bounds in the game. It's just right in the beginning of the game. That's it. But there are a few like kind of, I would say, tricks later on. But we'll get to that like later. But hey, evil stuff happens in the game, and it's a really wonderful game. I highly suggest if you can actually like get this game later in the year, because I'm probably thinking that the game is going to be released later in the year or maybe in 2025. This game is actually brilliant. I love this game a lot. I would say lesbian love story as well, but like, hell yeah. Very good game. So our objective right now is to actually go to that door right there, but like that door is just kind of locked until you give it a gold rose. Because I think it's... I don't know if it's this. Does Phantom of the Opera have roses? I don't remember about that.
I'm not sure.
I am also not sure, so I'm just gonna say it's kind of tied with... Maybe tied, not tied with Phantom of the Opera, because... So the school actually wants to have like tryouts for Phantom of the Opera, like... way back before like the school had a fire and such. But yeah, there we go. We got a key card. Gonna go into here, right here, and then we are gonna be going to this toolbox. We're not gonna be going towards the other side of it. Also, this case is actually RNG for some reason, but I got the really good RNG that requires me to just move the numbers to the corresponding orders, which is 001. It's really easy. All right. Screwdriver. We got a screwdriver just to actually use to unscrew a grate right here. Pretty cool. We're gonna be using those as weapons in the game as well, which is really nice as well. Alright, cool. Alright, I got confirmation that Phantom of the Opera has roses. Hell yeah. Okay. We're gonna be removing those screws as well. And then we're gonna get a set of quarters. I could actually get the quarters. There you go. Now we are going to be meeting the antagonist of the game, which is Spotlight. Or Spothead. Spotlight Head? Either one. Oh no, he's hot! Well, physically and figuratively, I guess. There we go. We're gonna walk towards Spotlight real quick, and then we get shined by the light, the heat. And then make our way out. This is like the faster way of doing it for some reason. If you actually just like, if you actually kind of just do the stealth part of the game, it's kind of slower than that. So we take the damage intentionally so that it's faster. All right, quarter time. So I need money. There we go. Money's here. And then we're gonna put B34 because we need the glue. Glue is gonna be used for one of the stuff in the game. Oh no, there's a ghost. Some kind of demon. Alright. Going back to this toolbox right here. Gonna use the glue for the pliers. Why did I do that? Menuing is kind of hard sometimes, especially if someone is like awake at 12:30 and just woke up an hour ago. All right, now we're gonna go to this graveyard right here, and it's like, oh, there we go. Dig a way out. Use the pliers. Pull these fingers out, and then we are gonna be getting the gold rose immediately. All right. So that's the first part of the game, already done in like 4-ish minutes. That's cool. But also at the same time, if you can see like the glowing redness that's on the screen at the moment, that's me just having a lot of damage at the moment. One more hit from me and I'm dead. And I do not want to do that at all. So there's that. Anyways, we are going to be going towards the gym. Here's a little trick. Normally you're supposed to like circle around, but you can just like go up to the bench and just walk towards the bench and then just fall, because she doesn't take fall damage. Hip hip hooray! I love games without fall damages. Yay! Anyways, we're gonna go into the gym. I have to do a bunch of coding stuff. No, not coding stuff. Stuff. Codes. I need codes. That's all I can say. So we have this like big generator right here. Is it generator? No. Whatever it is. Fuse box. There we go. And what I have to do is find like 5 fuses along the way to actually just do a bunch of stuff to open up another place in the game. All right. This is 4, right? 4. Like that. Cool. All right. I have like my notes at least. So right now I'm gonna be traversing through the oh wait, hold on real quick. I'm gonna do this real quick. There we go. Gonna switch to the second panels, I guess. Menuing. I had to traverse through this gym right here just to get a lot of fuses so that I could actually activate like a fuse box later on in the game, but it is what it is later on. Anyways, going to the storage right here. There's gonna be like a flashlight over here. We're not gonna be picking up the flashlight, so we're gonna be going around in darkness, which is why my brightness in this game is like super high, and it's like so weird with the I say it's weird with the resolution as well. Believe it or not, this game is actually run in 480p. I'm not joking. This game is like 480p. Anyways, going into the bathroom right here. Cabinet keys. And then we get the heck out of there. So yeah, we're gonna be traversing around in the darkness, but don't you worry, I can actually see it, at least see in the darkness because of the brightness stuff. So yeah, we got Fuse D, and we're gonna get Fuse C upcoming pretty soon. Alright, so Fuse C is inside like some kind of black sludge. I don't know how black sludge is like. That is in a cubicle. Very disgusting. I hope no one pees in like black sludge. As you can tell. Alright. Get the fuse and then we get out of there. But hey, there's a roadblock right here. There is a spotlight. Yeah, spotlight is just right on our tail. Now we are right behind him. We are gonna be doing the stealth part, because if you actually run immediately into the door that we are supposed to go to, it's really bad, and we do not want to get caught because I'm at really bad health right now. So there's that. Anyways, going back to the panels right here. Opening up C first. I need to remember about menuing or inventory menuing. This is 8, if I'm not mistaken. 8 and then 0. If I could do this, please. There we go. Cool. Alright. Last part is the swimming pool, which I have to go to pretty soon. I need to stop, like, over-clicking. Keep spamming my clicks, like, way too many times. But, yeah, it is what it is. Alright. So, fun little trick right here. You can actually go to this door right here. Initially, the lever is used for like the end of this part, but we're gonna use it at the beginning of this part because you can actually get it from the other side of the wall, which is pretty cool. Anyways, going through that door right here, and then towards the lockers one more time with the key, and then we say goodbye with the key. Now, can you open up the door? Thank you very much. I was about to say, inhaler is actually used as health. So, this person is actually high on inhalers. Can I say that? I don't know if I can say that. But yeah, she uses inhalers as health items because she has asthma and such. But I don't know how you could use an inhaler for a health item. Can you use an inhaler for a health item? Anyways, we got the hello, there you go. We got the handle for the pull pump. And then we're gonna be going towards the depths of the pool. To like get a handle, and that's about it. So we are gonna be grabbing like a raffle handle, and that's about it. So that's how it is with this part right here. But also at the same time, hey, remember the roadblock that I was talking about way earlier in the game? That Spotlight was just walking around in the gym? He went into the swimming pool! And he's back! So I'm just gonna be wrapping around right here. Yeah, like I said, normally that lever is supposed to be used at the end of this part, but we used it at the beginning so we can actually go through here. Yeah, that's it. Cool. Alright. Now we use the lever. Or the crank, I guess. What's it gonna be? Gumba, 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 and F fuse. There we go. I love me some fuses in my raffle Gumba machine. What am I saying? Anyways. Last panel. F first and then E. If I could actually menu right. Oh my god, I can't even speak today. This morning. Sometimes you just cannot speak. You cannot speak and it's like, oh. Lever. And then we are done with everything right here. Alright, Ak, do you have anything to say so far about this game? I know you like this game.
It is a pretty cool game.
Pretty cool game, yes.
It is always weird though, because you were mentioning it earlier, but yeah, her health, you know, like a lot of games have health kits. This game, she just kind of is addicted to inhalers.
Yeah.
Which, you know, like, you know, our main character here is asthmatic, but, yeah, she just finds random inhalers around the skull and just, you know, you can take like 5 of them in a row, but I thought they were like prescribed and you're not supposed to do that, but, I'm kind of wondering what this character is made out of.
Alright, we're gonna switch the HVAC, and that's gonna... So initially there's like smoke in the theater. So the smoke in the theater is just causing, you know, Vivian to not go into the theater because I think, if I'm not mistaken, like Amy's in the theater and she's like held captive in the theater as well. So we are gonna be trying to save. We're gonna try to save Amy by just going into the theater, but because you know we have to take the smoke away. That's how you take the smoke away. Just going to the gym, re-diverting stuff. Now we actually go and do stuff. All right, double up, and we are good. So yeah, we are gonna be traversing around the theater room, the theater place and such. Not a lot of stuff to talk about other than just, you know, a lot of puzzling, a lot of back and forth, a lot of, I guess, traversing. Alright, hallway key. Let's go back. So I need this hallway key in order for me to go into both of the doors that is like, there and there. So there's that. Gonna be using one of them right here, right now. There we go. And then we're in the dark. Don't worry, I can traverse in the dark because my brightness is actually really high. I don't know how it is on stream, but my brightness is really high. But yeah, you're not supposed to take like the flashlight, because the flashlight is kind of like an inconvenience, because it always like brings it out and is like not good sometimes. So, you know, traversing in the dark, it works. All right, we're gonna be grabbing a bunch of like pieces along the way. If I get piano right, there we go. So I'm gonna be grabbing like face pieces for a face later on that we're gonna put together, and then go into like the underground sewer place later. I need to go here. Whoops. Alright, so art class. We're gonna be bringing a jack with us. I don't know how strong Vivian is, but she's like really strong. She grabs this jack. This big old jack. Just puts right behind her back. That's it. Alright, now we're gonna go and escape from the art class, but hey, you know what? Spotlight is back. And I don't like Spotlight. Boo, Spotlight, boo! Alright, and then we're just gonna get out of here. Where am I? Getting out! Towards one place where I need the jack for, so it's very nearby, so we're gonna be using the jack right here. Lift it up. Alright, let me actually do some menuing real quick. There we go. And then pull the jack. Pull the jack. 3 times. And 1 more. There we go. But that's not the only part that I'm going to be using the jack for. But we're going to get another face piece. Which is right here. There we go. Give me that face piece. Oh no, face. I love this game a lot. This game has like a lot of the unique aspect of it. Feels like a very good horror game. Also, hopefully the spotlight do not get me. No, oh, I was about to say like, oh, I'm glad that it didn't spot me. Wait, it spot me. It gives me damage. I do not like damage. But oh, please do not go into the sewers once again. Can I go back up? There you go. I got back up. Alright, cool. Gonna be using the jack once again. Okay, this part, I need to remember that it's a double. There we go. So we're gonna get one more piece of the face for the puzzle. And what's standing between a face piece and me is another puzzle. Which is like a love story kind of thing, like a poem. And then you have to like put pieces together and such. And you realize that the rose is up here, the birdcage down there, and then the knife to the heart is right here. Wah, 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 gone. I'm so stupid. Alright, final face piece, and then we are getting out of here. So we're coming close to like the end of the game as well. Basically, yeah, like I said, like we had to save like Vivian and no Vivian. We had to save Amy. And the way we are gonna be saving Amy is that we're just gonna go into the oh, there we go. I just do this real quick. We're just gonna go into the we're just gonna go into the theater, and then what stands between us and Amy is like spotlight head again. Hello? Did I not grab? Okay, there we go. It's like wondering what am I doing? It's a spotlight head. There's a bunch of lore in the game about why spotlight head was there or is there. But basically like the school burned down, and then the reason for that is just some kind of like, I think it's like the art director teacher or something like that kind of killing one of the students as well. And something along the lines of that. I am very sorry, I'm butchering a lot of the story. I have not played this game in a long time. I have not read the lore. I just only like read about, hey, you know, the devs are actually really cool. In fact, they have a Discord server for the game as well, Cozy Game Pals. They are really nice people, like very cool individuals. There's also like a little bit of a speedrun group as well. Shout outs to like Entropy for actually making the group, which is pretty cool. He's like really passionate about the game as well, or really passionate about the speedrun. I bet like if I actually like have him on, he could actually say a bunch of the lore stuff as well. But yeah, shout outs to like Entropy. But yeah, we are in this like really weird place that I need to actually unlock right here. And then we're grabbing a pipe. So this whole time I was like talking, I was supposed to be grabbing a pipe right here. Oh hey, they're on chat right now. Hello people. Hello the devs in the chat. Yeah, Krista and Brian, they are really lovely people, honestly. We're gonna be using the pipe right here. So we're gonna be traversing water so that we could actually make the let me actually do this real quick. Boop, boop. Pull down. There we go. Traversing water towards like the sprinklers, and then like, you know, putting out the fire, and then we're going to go to like the final part of the game, which is like the boss fight of the game. So we have to fight Spotlight Head for Amy. So there's that. I like to actually know like what made them choose the name Cozy Game Pals. Cause it's a really wholesome name. And then they just make a horror game. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna make the most wholesome name group possible. The name studio possible. And then like, oh, we're just gonna make a horror game. I'm like, uh-oh. Anyways, we're gonna traverse through electricity. Basically in the game, you're supposed to like turn off the electricity, but like we're just gonna say no and just like get shocked. And then we're just gonna heal by just using the inhaler right here. That's cool. But yeah, this is the final part of the game. We are gonna be fighting the final boss, or like the main boss of the game, which is a Spotlight Head. And you can tell like this game is like really short and really simple. It's about like maybe 3-ish hours if you ever play this game like fully, which is why they kind of like pulled this game out, because they wanted to make a lot of improvements of the game, a lot of like longer sections, I would say, in this game. There's gonna be some sections that's gonna be longer for sure. But if you ever get this game is really awesome in the future. It's really good. I love it. But now we are gonna be fighting the end part of the game. We're gonna walk through electricity once again, because why not? Cool. And then we're gonna get hit by the spotlight or the electricity, like, oh, there we go. And then we see Amy in a cage. In a bird cage, I would say. No, Amy! Oh, can we get some nerd emojis in the chat as well? Oh no, we're gonna save our golf girlfriend. Pull down. There we go. I should actually take this real quick. I'm gonna take this just in case. Safety measures, because why not? There we go. I just want to be in full health real quick. If anything screws up in the game, I want to be in full health, because normally in the run, I actually do not pick up the inhaler and just like go through with the final boss of the game, but you know, it is what it is. We get some nerdy emojis.
Amy.
Actually. Alright.
My head.
So we're gonna try to save Amy.
Where are we?
Amy doesn't remember anything because like she got kidnapped.
Remember what happened?
Brought into the theater and such.
We were playing with the spirit board, but then things got.
This part is like cool, but it's also unskippable, so I can't really skip it. But what I'm gonna be explaining about the fight as well. Basically, the fight is just going through like 3 generators, and also the tools we get along the way in the game.
We have to get you out of here.
And oh no! Look, it's the nerd emoji. Oh no! Spotlight is back!
Not taking her away from me. I won't lose her
Again! But yeah, this part is like, I think, lore-wise, talking about the main character, I guess. No, not this main character, but like basically the before the fire started, there was like a girl who was supposed to be like the main character of the Phantom of the Opera kind of theater thing, and I think that person is like a monster from the fire. I don't remember stuff. I'm so sorry, but we're gonna go to the generators right here. Press. There we go. Shock him. Very cool fight right here. All right, we're gonna use the flyers that I got in the game as well. Pull. All right, go to the next generator. Also, this boss fight pretty simple, pretty damn easy. Press it once again. There we go. We shock him. Bring him up. Screws. I need some screws right now. Unscrew this and unscrew that. And then we got one more phase into the fight where we use the screwdriver that we get and bash through the glass. That one more, and bam, there we go. Cool. All right, and we save our golf girlfriend, Shirley. Stab, stab, stab. Why isn't he dying? Stab, stab. One more. There we go. That's it. That is the game. But we do have to escape from this nightmarish world by bringing our golf girlfriend Amy back into the real world. Also, I like how the spotlight hit is actually just in a cage. It's just like a person in a cage. And now the cage disappears. And now Amy's here. And now we as Vivian, the nerd girl, with the nerd emoji.
Holy crap. You did it.
We're gonna get her out of here. See, like I said, this is like a cool love story as well, because, you know, in the story...
Is he gone?
Well, spoilers, I would say. In the story, basically, Amy has some kind of love interest for Vivian, and Vivian also have a love interest, a little bit of a love interest for Amy. But, you know, Amy tried to pull the trigger by just, hey, do you want to do something spooky? And then Vivian's like, yes. Actually, yes. So, yeah. You get to see like the love story at the end of the game as well, but yeah, time's coming up pretty soon as well when the game actually fades to black. I have a few shoutouts as well, which I will say at the end of the game. But they're really cool shoutouts, I promise. Like really cool shoutouts. But I guess first of all, we're gonna take this away real quick. Shoutouts to the devs. Once again, I keep talking about the devs. Brian and Krista, they're really cool people. Like Lycanthropy as well, who's also like one of the main people on in the speedrunning community as well, and time. There we go. That's Fear the Spotlight. Very simple game, very cool game, very short game as well. Indie-like as well. Yeah. Brian is also like, okay. To further explain about this, Brian is one of the devs, or was one of the devs at Naughty Dog Games. Krista was one of the people who worked at Nickelodeon at the time, which is pretty cool. I love Naughty Dog and Nickelodeon, and knowing that two people were from Naughty Dog and Nickelodeon really warms my heart, warms the cockles of my heart. Shout out to Lycanthropy again as well. Lycanthropy, really hardworking guy who actually spent a lot of time on the speedrun of the game as well. So very big shout outs to Lycanthropy. Very huge shout outs right here, because I want to mention about this real quick. This game will be showcased on GDQ again next week on Flame Fatales. I want to give a big shout out to Eliza. She will be doing this game as well on Flame Fatales. Shout outs to all the Flame Fatale people as well who are working on the marathon prior to upcoming to Flame Fatales. There is going to be like an incentive for this game as well, which is damageless. I'm going to say this right now, there is an incentive, damageless. If you want to see this game damageless, you should actually try to donate to Malala Fund. Really cool. But But yeah, at the end of the game, we say like, oh yeah, I like you, I love you too, and then like, oh yeah, they kind of just like mingle. But yes, shout outs to all these people. They're really cool. I love those guys. I love this game a lot. This game is really cool. This is one of the cool games that is out there. Hopefully this game gets released this year or next year. So yeah, that's about it. I'm Drew Horse. I'm a regular of Speedruns from the Crypt. I love sharing these horror games as well. If you do know me as well, I also speedrun a bunch of like silly games as well. Recently did a run of Muscle March on SGDQ 2024, and I'm just like over here just doing horror games as well. I love horror games. If you want to check me out, do check me out at twitch.tv/JuHorse, that's JUHORSE. I did all of X work, don't worry about it. Ek, you have final words to say?
No, you pretty much covered all I was gonna ask you. You're all good there. Thank you for the shout outs. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely no more speed.
And hope.
Thank you for bringing me back.
Yeah, it was pretty tight being able to see this game. Anyway, that about wraps up our show for the night. I do want to say thank you everyone for watching and hope you enjoyed this showcase of indie horror speedruns. It is nice to see games that are a little bit against the grain in a way and some lesser known games that you may not have heard of. Maybe you found a new favorite and, well, I hope you had a great night so far. Before we do go to wrap things up, I do just want to say, subs in general support the Twitch channel in the interim between GDQ events. So if you want to support GDQ, consider doing that. As well, just in case you missed either Speedruns from the Crypt or Challenger Approaching, you can stay tuned as we're going to be having a replay of both shows coming up after a brief break. As well, we have tomorrow, tune in Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern for Going Places and Passion Project. Anyway, I have been your host, Igdisis. I run these shows every 2 weeks. You can find more information about me somewhere on the screen here at Igdisis pretty much everywhere. I plan these out and, well, plan a lot of fun horror shows. Anyway, have a wonderful rest of the day and or night, and take it easy.